All right, aloha kako. Welcome everyone. We're gonna go ahead and get started as it is 7 o'clock. So, Kimi Onokane Chair, Waimānalo Neighborhood Board. We're gonna get this meeting started at 7 p.m. Want to welcome everybody to the first meeting of 2026, January 12th, 2026, here at the Waimānalo Public Library. Myself, Chair Kimi Onokane, I'll have the privilege of facilitating our meeting this evening and our conversations as we move through the night. We want to recognize what a year 2025 was for many of us and the challenges that this community and this board faced and the ever-present resilience that, again, time after time is a constant for this community and this board. And so I just want to mahalo all of the folks that have made their voices present throughout the year in this capacity here at the neighborhood board, through any other channels that have become present, and just mahalo all the service that has gone forth to serving Waimānalo. And so with that, I do also want to recognize the difficulties that our community has faced, including, but not limited to, the passing of several really important hulukupuna in our community, the tragedies that our community has dealt with, and the things that our first responders have seen. We owe you folks a debt of thanks significantly for your folk services. Additionally to that, it's just offering us an opportunity to reflect and to think in silence. And we'll take a moment of silence to just think intentionally about how 2025 will shape our pathways into 2026. So I'm just going to ask us all to just take a quick moment of silence and reflection and honor the things that we need honoring. So if we can just do that for a minute. Thank you. Mahalo nui for that. I want to invite any of our volunteers, any of our public individuals who might want to offer pule for us to get us started this evening. Is there anyone online interested in providing pule for us this evening?
Sure, I'll provide pule.
Mahalo nui. Thank you, Brenda.
Mahalo Keakua for your generosity to us in 2025, taking us through the good things and the difficult things and the things that are still hard, Lord. We continue to look to you for strength, for wisdom. We ask you to lead us tonight as we meet, to bring us unity, wisdom, strength, and good things for Waimānalo. In your name we pray, Jesus. Amen.
Amene. Mahalo nui. You folks are attending the Waimānalo Neighborhood Board meeting. Again, this is our first meeting of the year. We are in person at the Waimānalo Public Library. For those that are interested in joining us, we also have an online WebEx link that you might be able to find on our NCO website, the Neighborhood Commission Office website, and feel free to join in by that means as well. We have board meeting recordings that are available, documented on YouTube with the Neighborhood Commission Office, and then we do have a Google Drive available for the documents that we generally see. This meeting and the purpose of the Neighborhood Board and the Neighborhood Board Plan is to increase and assure effective citizen participation in the decisions of government. Anyone wishing to speak is asked to click the raise hand icon for those of you online, and when recognized by the chair, to address your comments to the chair. Remarks should not exceed 3 minutes. For those who are on phone, please ensure online, please ensure your microphone is muted unless you are speaking. You can mute and unmute for those dialing in on the phone by pressing *6. And then for those that are in person, simply just raise your hand, be acknowledged, and then we'll welcome you up to the microphone. Written testimony also can be submitted via email using the contact information listed on the Neighborhood Commission Office website. And then very importantly, please state your first and last name for the record before you move into the comment, question, or conversations. This board has adopted the functions of aloha akahai, meaning kindness to be expressed with tenderness, Lokahi meaning unity to be expressed with harmony. Olu meaning agreeable to be expressed with pleasantness. Ha'aha'a meaning humility to be expressed with modesty. And ahunui meaning patience to be expressed with perseverance in accordance with Hawaii Revised Statutes, Chapter 5-7.5. The accountability is all of ours to maintain our composure in what we talk about, recognizing that we do have difficult conversations ahead of us. And so while we celebrate the good things and challenge ourselves to the difficult things, we remind everybody to be in aloha while you do it. Yeah. We're all accountable to that, and the expectation is that we hold each other accountable to it as well. Okay, so notes, the neighborhood board may take action on any agenda item as required by the state sunshine law HRS 92. Specific issues not noted on this agenda cannot be voted on unless added to the agenda. A 2/3 vote for this board, 9 members of its 13, is needed to add an item to the agenda. Doing so, however, is not permitted if 1, the item to be added is of reasonably major importance, and 2, action of the item by the board will affect a significant number of persons. Determination of whether a specific matter may be added to the agenda must be done on a case-by-case basis. We remind folks to please silence all electronic devices, and we note that this meeting is being recorded. For the conversations that need or require board votes, members are required to turn your cameras on if participating online. So please know that as well. And then for those that are participating in person, emergency exit here, emergency exit behind us here. Restrooms are out the door to the right. Please follow all rules with regards to the school and the property. With that being said, we're gonna ask that our neighborhood board assistant, Melissa, take roll call. Members, when your name is called, please recognize and respond. Mahalo.
Kanela Kamahaloha Nuilai.
Here.
Kuike Kamakea Ohelo.
Yo.
Thank you. Chair Connie. Lily Makaila.
Yo.
Thank you. Jenna McKee. Not here. Moeata Moku Lehua. Thank you. Kapiolani Ni.
Yo.
Thank you. Ted Ralston. Not here. And Brenda, he is online. Oh, I see him. Ted Ralston.
Yo.
Thank you. And Brenda Wong, thank you.
Yeah.
8 members present, Chair.
Mahalo nui, gang. Thank you so much for being here. We have 8 members present. We do meet quorum, so decision making can take place this evening. We're going to move on to our Olelo No'eau of the month. This is number 17, taken from our Olelo No'eau books, a beautiful compilation of important, relevant things that we're continuing to learn from. And we're looking at number 17 this evening, Ahu Kapailo or Kapilo, a heap of stinks. How our kupuna saw that, wow, let's just reflect on that for a little bit and look at the way that our kupuna thought and think about how we may or may not have grown apart from some of those thought processes today. Just such an incredible piece of work that we're continuing to learn from. And so again, number 7, Ahu Kapilo, a heap of stinks. We're going to move on to our emergency providers report, starting with Honolulu Fire Department, then Honolulu Police Department. Gentlemen, thank you for being here this evening. The time is yours, sir.
Evening, Captain David Schubert, Waimānalo Fire Station. The incident statistics for last month, December 2025, we had 35 medical calls, 2 mountain rescues, 1 motor vehicle accident, 1 brush fire, 1 nuisance fire, and 1 activated alarm. This month's fire safety tip deals with electrical safety in the house. We are recommending you check for electrical hazards in your home. Here are some tips to keep your ohana safe. Plug 1 heat-producing appliance, such as coffee makers, toasters, microwaves, into a wall receptacle outlet at a time. Major appliances, such as refrigerators, dryers, stoves, should be plugged directly into wall receptacle outlets. Extension cords, power taps, and power strips should not be used. Check electrical cords to ensure they are not running across doorways or under carpets. Extension cords are intended for temporary use. Have a licensed electrician install additional receptacles receptacle outlets to eliminate using extension cords and ensure electrical work is performed by a licensed electrician.
Captain, thank you so very much for being here this evening. Members online, questions for Honolulu Fire Department? Seeing none. Any community members online? Seeing none. Canela, question? Members in the public? Hearing none. Captain, thank you very much
Okay,
again
thank
for
you
your
very
report.
much. Happy New Year.
Mahalo. Next up, we're going to have Honolulu Police Department. Gentlemen, thank you for being here.
Good evening, board and members of the audience in person and online. I'm Sanford Yu. I'm one of your lieutenants for District 4 in the Night Watch. This is Sergeant Krekel. He's one of your sergeants that handles Waimānalo, Kailua area. The stats for December, probably one of the best I've ever seen. 1 motor vehicle theft compared to 3 the prior month. 0 burglaries compared to 1 the prior month. Thefts remain the same at 2. No motor vehicle break-ins compared to 3 the prior month, and no robberies compared to 2 the prior month. I'm willing to answer any questions at this time.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here, gentlemen. Members online, questions for HPD? Seeing none. Any community members online? Seeing none. Canela? Community members here. Okay. Lieutenant, I have 2 follow-ups that I just want to, I guess, clarify or work through. As you may be aware, we have dealt with a long and ongoing challenge of vehicles on the beach. A few days ago, 5 or so vehicles, large, big party out at Hunananiho. It's one of the most challenging spaces to have any kind of enforcement. It's hidden from both sides, and while we have talked about potential opportunities between Bellows and the city and county of Honolulu, we haven't yet gotten to a place of being able to put up any boulder structures just yet. And the confusion for some of the community members has definitely become apparent, at least online, with regards to who's going to respond. I think in this particular case, HPD was contacted. It took over an hour for any kind of response. And there's just some concern that, as you can imagine, by the time something does come, things have either dissipated, gone. But what can the community continue to do in circumstances like that, where it's a little questionable about who's supposed to respond?
Just continue to call 911
Okay,
and somebody will, I don't know what the caseload was like that day,
sure.
but somebody will respond.
Okay.
You know what time that was, Chair?
It was in the afternoon. Yeah, it wasn't an evening call, but it was late afternoon. Weekend, I believe. I have some timestamp stuff I can definitely share with you. I think that particular stretch of beach is just questionable between DoCare, between military police, and then obviously between HPD. And it's been a problematic space for many, many years. And so I guess it's just a great reminder that we still have unfinished business with regards to buffering that area with other measures of protection to keep vehicles out of those spaces. But, I think we have a lot to learn still. And so we just continue to look forward to the participation with you folks.
Mhm.
The second thing that I wanted to question, because it was a very hot topic, New Year's, was the enforcement that HPD conducted in partnership. And, our community, maybe we didn't see as much of that. And I'm curious from your perspective, just what should the community expect, as we look at trying to get ahead of some of the illegal fireworks?
Well, where I live, it was greatly reduced from the year before. The weeks prior to New Year's, people would start popping, especially arrows and the bombs. This year, I don't recall hearing hardly anything prior to New Year's Eve. And they would start about 8 o'clock. But this year, they didn't start till about 10. So I think the increase in fines, as well as the use of drones, reduced in some areas, but the drone technology is limited because of cost, and you have to be licensed to be a drone pilot. So unfortunately, I don't think they were able to cover the entire island. They focus more on the more problematic areas, West Side, Pahu, Eva, Kapolei. Not that Waimānalo is not important, but those are generally the areas where the most fireworks are popped. Yeah.
Mahalo. I appreciate the opinion there. I guess a curiosity for us is, you know, we'd like to see perhaps what do we want to do moving forward, because you know New Year's situation is New Year's and relative to New Year's, but throughout the year, does this function of enforcement only hype up in that period of time, or is the community expected to see these things throughout the year as well?
I don't think it's as problematic throughout the year until we get close to New Year.
Mhm.
Not even 4th of July is anywhere close to New Year. I mean, you're going to have the guys that pop when somebody wins a football game, but they're generally not popping the whole week up to a football game or a big event.
Sure.
But we do enforcement. We respond to every fireworks call. But to give the ticket, there's strict parameters that
I watch them every
has to
morning.
be
So no one's immune from heartbreak.
observed by the officer responding.
Sorry, 1 second. If you're online, please mute. Thank you. Go ahead.
So the officer has to witness or have someone provide a statement
Right.
or video.
Right.
But they are reviewing the drone footage that they took on New Year's Eve to possibly follow up with citations and arrests. Yeah.
Do you recall what the citation number was?
I know there was 2 arrests. I don't know where they were or the specifics, but I'm not familiar with a number of citations issued either.
Mahalo. Well, I appreciate the response. And mahalo nui for your service and your folks' time this evening.
Mhm.
You have anything you want to share, sir? Or introduce yourself?
Sergeant Mike Crutch. I mainly Kailua, but I do cover Waimānalo. So last month, we did cite one individual at Sherwood's for having his truck on the beach. So he was cited, and that was a court citation. So.
Okay. Yeah, we appreciate those actions. We don't have to reiterate why it's become so important for us to make those behaviors stop. But it goes without saying how important that place is, and really the rules that are set in place are super important for us too. So we appreciate your folks' work.
We did do enforcement on the weekends at night, but when they drive quads or dirt bikes, they generally run away.
Sure.
And we're very restricted about pursuing them.
Sure.
So vehicles are probably easier, but if it's a daytime, we'll relay that to the other watch so they
Understood.
can make checks on the weekend.
Okay.
Mhm.
Gentlemen, thank you again for being here. Mahalo nui for your service.
Good night.
Do we have ocean safety here this evening? Hi, Aka. Thank you for joining us. You need a minute? Okay. We're going to go with City and County of Honolulu Department of Ocean Safety, Lieutenant Aka Tamashiro. Mahalo, Aka.
Aloha, everybody. Aka Tamashiro, Windward Operations Lieutenant. The numbers for last month pertaining just to the Waimānalo area, Tower 6 Alpha, which is the beach park. Overall attendance about 27,000. Was it about roughly 1,000 preventative actions, 200 first aids, a little over 2,000 public contacts, and that's just anything from, hey, how's it going? Or bathrooms are over there, to, hey, we got some strong currents and whatnot. Rescues for the beach park last month was 4. For beach 6, Hunananiho, roughly 22,000 visitors, roughly a little over 1,100 preventative actions, 200 minor first aids, and give or take about 2,000, a little over 2,000 for the public contacts. And they had 4 significant rescues. And one thing to bring up, they just had a CPR case yesterday. So I know they got them out. We try not to speak about individual personal cases. So I think our guys did a great job as always, and we're crossing our fingers and waiting to hear back from them. Moving on to the Bellows, which again is only open on weekends and holidays for us. 7,000 in attendance, roughly 1,300 for preventatives, roughly 80 first aid minors, and for that one, a little over 1,000. And surprisingly, even with the busy Christmas break, we've been real lucky. I'll knock on anything. We haven't had any rescues over there. And then that basically summarizes for the Waimānalo. We have had significant things happening over at Sandy's and Makapu'u, but those are technically out of the Waimānalo area. But just to keep you guys briefed, Sandy's, we had 32 significant rescues. Luckily, none of them resulted in a drowning. A few of them were, as usual, we take spinal precautions, putting them on the backboard and whatnot. Makapu'u, with the all these storms that have been coming, the men and women, they've been really hoofing it down there. So they had about 40 rescues, which is pretty significant. On average, they'll do maybe about 20 to 25. But yeah, they've been really earning it this last month.
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. Members online, questions for ocean safety? Seeing none. Any community members online? Canela? Anyone from the community here? Seeing none. Okay, I want to ask two, I guess, follow-ups.
Mhm.
Firstly, just mahalo to you and your team, obviously, for the work that you folks are doing. And I'm sure we said it, but I also want to mahalo you for the work that you folks are collaborating in the moment of emergencies. So the tsunami, that there's a big gap in how city response has been for this community. And so seeing you out there doing the rotations in between and really trying to inform public, I just want to appreciate that part. And that goes above and beyond what I think is ocean safety is Kuleana, but certainly you folks have taken it to heart.
We're happy to be here.
In your comments, you use the word visitor, and I want to just clarify, is visitor tourist or visitor to the beach?
Visitor to the beach.
Okay. And then I think for me, the last question or comment, it's specific to the boundaries that you just identified. So I feel confident that this community appreciates the updates about Makapu'u and about Waimānalo. And I'll go on record saying that Waimānalo doesn't end at Makapu'u Point.
Yeah.
And so with that recognition, despite how it's currently looked at, I would appreciate you to continue to share those updates with us.
Happily.
That is still our community.
Yep.
We feel that very strongly. And again, because of whoever wanted to draw funky lines, it
Yeah.
is not how I think the majority of us see it. And so I just appreciate you for helping us to acknowledge the importance of those outer skirts of Mauna Lua that
No problem at all.
belong to Waimānalo as well.
I have
So,
the numbers and I'm happy to share them with you guys.
fantastic. Seeing no other comments, I just want to mahalo you for being here and your service. Thanks,
Thank you guys. Have a great night.
Mahalo. Members, we're going to move on. We have public agencies, starting with Board of Water Supply. Danny, thank you for being here. Happy New Year.
Hi, Happy New Year. It's Danielle Ornelas from Board of Water. And so the month of December, we had no water main breaks in Waimānalo. And there's also no planned Board of Water Supply work for this month. An announcement from the Board of Water, conserve water now to get bigger rewards. The Board of Water Supply, in partnership with the Department of Environmental Services, has expanded the Water Sensible Rebate Program, doubling many rebates. Residents can now receive higher rebates, $150 rebate with the purchase of a Energy Star washer machine, $200 rebate for the WaterSense toilet, and a $400 rebate with the purchase of a smart water monitor. Please visit boardofwatersupply.com for more information regarding the rebates. This is in to kind of help with the price increase going up with the E&V department. And questions we had last month, the material used for the water main break reported last month for, was for November. The material used, it was a ductile iron pipe. And then we had a question, the watershed grants question regarding monies from Board of Water. I still didn't get a definite answer from the person who gives us the answer. He's been out of town for some time. Any questions?
Danny, thank you so much for your update and your service. Members online, questions for BWS? Seeing none. Any community members online? Seeing none. Canela? Members present? Seeing none. Danny, I have some follow-ups if I might.
Sure.
Firstly, because it's top of mind, I would love to invite Director Ernie Lau to share a little bit of his mana'o on some of the Charter Commission amendments that were seen this afternoon by the Charter Commission. There were some amendments, proposals, I should say, that were provided, some coming from this community, about the right to clean water. And none of them passed out of today's readings. And one of the commissioners highlighted Director Lau's testimony as being one of the eye-opening perspectives. And, you know, I didn't get a chance to see the fullness of that yet, but I'm curious about his position and the Board of Water Supply's position on this particular topic, as it results in simply just what we thought would be a pretty easy to do commitment of verbiage.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I don't want to say I'm disappointed that it didn't pass, but it seems like we have a missed opportunity to assure that the residents of Honolulu, City and County of Honolulu, have the true access to the right to water. And I'm baffled that the Charter Commission today opted in opposition of the three proposals to change language, which again, I want to invite Board of Water Supply before this community, because I know that this community participated in this process. And I want to have a dialogue about how do we pursue continuing to elevate the kuleana that we all talk about having to Vai. But if we're not at a place of saying that we have a right to it, then what are we doing? And I think
Okay.
Board of Water Supply, as they champion and have been champions of certain things, this is a missed opportunity. So can we figure out a way to get a conversation going with you folks in our community about what that might look like in the future? And again, this is premature in the sense that I didn't participate in seeing his testimony yet, but when it's posted, I will. But I was there present for the decision making where it was all deferred essentially. So that's one thing I just want to put out there for you. If you can take that
Okay.
back, invite.
Yeah, I'll get that going with Kathleen and his side and get something rolling. I'll be in touch with you.
Perfect. I appreciate it. Secondly, to that question and comment is, you know, what you just talked about with ENV, the price increase and the rate increases for community members. This has been a very difficult conversation, as you recall. And despite some of the outpouring of concern, we are still moving forward with this. And so I'm curious if Board of Water Supply, or maybe this is a conversation for the mayor's rep, how is Board of Water Supply, ENV, going to continue to engage with the community about the challenges that are going to be coming forth? I appreciate the rebate programming. I think it's a little flawed in the sense that the rebate programming limits, I think, some of the ways in which community members might be able to purchase into the rebate program. Appliances, you know, if you just look at if we were to just pull up a Home Depot right now, some of the brands that we're talking about for this rebate is well in the $600, $700, $800 range. And that's on the cheaper end. And so there's a significant increase here that the community is going to have to shoulder now, even if they want to participate or buy into the rebate program. And so I'm just curious what kinds of learnings are going to take place for the community to continue to pour into this. I highly doubt that the City and County of Honolulu is going to backpedal on this one, but I don't think that the community is going to give up trying to pursue another pathway, because it was a significant shift. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Just some thoughts, and we don't have to have answers tonight, but I want to just make you aware, and Director Thielen, on behalf of the office, the ENV office, as well as the city, that we're going to pursue ways to support this community and communities like ours because we have to. This might seem like pennies, but it's not. And so just a thought for us to kind of think about moving forward, Danny.
Okay, got you. Thank you.
I
Got all
appreciate
this
it. Thank you
notes.
so much, Danny. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Okay.
Mahalo.
Mahalo.
That brings up Mayor Rick Blangiardi's representative, Director Thielen. Director, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Chair. Can you hear me all right?
We can. Thank you. Welcome.
Okay. Well, it's nice to be back and to see everyone again after the break. I'll start off with the mayor's report in general and touch on a couple things that I think would be of particular interest to the Waimānalo community. And then I have some updates on some of the park projects and then can take some questions. So first off, we had two new directors sworn in for the department. As you mentioned earlier, Kurt Lager was sworn in as Chief of Ocean Safety. But we also had a new director take over the Office of City and County of Honolulu's Office of Climate Change, Sustainability, and Resiliency. Dr. Kealoha Fox was named the director, and she's a renowned expert in climate policy, Native Hawaiian health, and Indigenous innovation. I've had the pleasure of working with her on some work that we're doing through the park department and their office, and she's just been a delight. She was the deputy there for a while, and when the director decided to step down, she competed for that position and just did a fabulous job. So we're really happy to have her on as the director. The next item that I think would be of interest for the Waimānalo community is there are new flood risk maps that the federal government has put out for FEMA. And these are going to take effect on June 10th of 2026. I've gone on to take a look at the flood areas, because as you know, I live in Waimānalo, and they have changed the maps for some of the areas in Waimānalo. You can go on to the website at resilientoahu.org and /getfloodready, and you can connect in the links to take a look at the maps and to see whether that affects your property. So the reason it's important to look at that is that if your property is now in a FEMA flood zone beginning June 10th, you have to get insurance for it. And if flood insurance policy is not secured after 45 days from the June 10th effective date, coverage may be force placed by lenders if you have a mortgage or loan out on your home. So the city, if you have a policy force placed by the lender on your home, it limits your control over the coverage cost or the terms of coverage. So the city participates in FEMA's National Flood Insurance Program Community Rating System, which can provide Oahu members, policyholders, with a 10% discount in the annual premiums. So in order to get some more information about this program, and then you can take that information to your insurance provider, you should please go to the website resilientoahu.org, and that's RESILIANT Oahu, all one word, .org /getfloodready. And then let's see here, I can go to some updates on the projects at the park projects at Waimānalo Beaches, and then answer some of the questions that the board asked us prior to the break in November. So the pavilion reconstruction is ongoing. They took a pause because they're doing a change order for some technical unexpected repairs, but once that's completed, they'll go back to the construction. The Waimānalo Beach Park comfort stations, DDC's, put comments back to the design people based on the last conversations that we had. They have done some on-site meeting at the Waimānalo Beach Parks, and they've identified some additional work is going to need to done to the showers because of the water runoff, and then some degradation to some of the parts on the showers. So the job may be amended in the design to include replacement showers at those two stations. And then the arts and crafts building that was subject to arson, DDC has been getting comments into the consultant's the contract submittal. And once they've got the contract finalized about the scope of work and it's approved, then we would go forward with the design on the arts and crafts building. And then lastly, there was some question by board members about the construction project with the water and electrical lines at the Waimānalo Beach Park that is going to be running out to the roadway to connect up to the utilities. So the first question was, is it possible for the old water and electrical lines to be cut, removed, and then the new lines replaced in the same position to minimize any new trenching? And DDC said, yes, they can replace the water and electrical lines in the same position. However, the depth of the water line may be different. Per the park standards, water pipes should be 36 inches below pavement areas and 24 inches below grass areas. So since the old lines may not have been that deep, and so if it does need to be a little bit deeper under the paved area, they would go to the 36 inches at that location. And that's to prevent them from being damaged when heavy vehicles are driving back and forth over the parking lot, and minimize the need to uproot the parking lot again for repairs in the future. Then we were asked what materials will be used for the new water lines, and the new potable water line will be copper. And then lastly, what materials will be used to house the new electrical lines. The new electrical line will be PVC encased in concrete. So that was all I had for the questions and the updates, and be happy to take any new questions.
Director, thank you so much for the complexity behind everything that's happening. I really appreciate that we have the opportunity to review and listen and learn and then provide thought. So members online, questions or responses? Brenda?
Yeah, thank you, Director Thielen. I was just checking in on our Waimānalo Parks and Rec priority list, and I think on the top of the list was the Polaris, and there's a place for parking in the Ocean Safety Building. So I was just checking in on that because the groundskeeper have a huge amount to cover, and they've been using their own personal vehicles, and it's been tough for them.
Thank you, Brenda. Yes, I'd be happy to give you an update on that. So long story short, we're going to be working on how we can get some type of vehicles for the park. Apparently they did have a Polaris in the past. It was stolen, and this is like 10 years ago. I don't know why it wasn't replaced. We have a contract for the utility vehicles, but it limits the number of vehicles that we can get under the contract. We're going back to see whether there's a way we can increase the number of utility vehicles without having to wait for a new contract. Normally, they only allow us to increase the number when we do a new contract. While we're finding out about that, we're going to see if we can allocate a truck. The challenge for a truck is because it's a lot heavier. If it goes into an area that's too sandy to support it, it would get stuck. So we're going to be working with the staff at the location to see if it's possible that a truck can get them closer to the areas without getting stuck, and that would make the job a little bit easier. But the best longer term solution would be to get the utility vehicle, and because we have to go through purchasing, we're going to have to, sort through the red tape to see how much time it will take for us to be able to get that. The other thing is I did check is on the use of personal equipment. Again, because of theft, and they don't have a location to lock equipment up there that's secure. The practice is supposed to be that they are able to go to the district park and get their equipment there and then head over to the park. I need to double check with the supervisor at the district park, but the staff have already talked about that, and I was talking with one of the maintenance superintendents today. So they should be able to go to the district park to pick up the equipment. And there's really not a reason for them to be using personal equipment, but I'll follow up with the supervisor at the district park. And I'm sorry, what was the other item you mentioned?
Oh, later on in the meeting, we'll complete the signage request that you asked for the signs in the Waimānalo Beach Park, but that will come up later on in our meeting.
Okay,
Mahalo, Brenda. Members, any other members online? Seeing none, any community members online? Seeing none, Canela? Members present. Okay. Mr. Larson, you have something for the city? Please. Thank you for being here.
Is my name first?
Please.
Dave Larson. You know how many years we've been waiting and talking about the same thing, the park? It's almost as old as, well,
As me.
yeah. Same thing. We hear the same thing over and over. Promises not kept.
Hmm.
It's been going on. The pavilion was supposed to be built. The bathroom, everything. No personnel equipment to be used. I went down to the park and I mowed the lawn so my granddaughter could play soccer. Because the grass is up to almost up to your knees. And then they called the police on me because I drove my car down there to carry my lawnmower. I mowed it by hand.
Hmm.
I mean, all these things are, somebody doesn't care. I mean, when you vote, you should definitely find out who you're voting for. It's ridiculous to vote for, oh, well, they're a Democrat, they're a Republican. Find out who they are. Because we're being had. So it's lies. And after a while, it becomes just flat out lies. We got to have a council or whatever it is to come in and survey it and see if this is, you know how many, a long time ago when I was on the board, we got the gym of that down at the park, the boxing gym, but they turned it into a boxing gym. You know, it took one outfit, $50,000 they were given to make a drawing of what it should look like. There's a lot of money going around and we're paying for it. And we're getting nothing except another bill. Now I hear there's an insurance that you have to get. Have to get? We live in a society that we elect people to do things for us. I don't even know who's my representatives. I don't see nothing from them. We should hear what's going on. Even the board members. I don't know who's on the board anymore, or they've just kind of, come down here and it's like talking to the walls here, and then we go away and there's nothing coming from it. The community, my passion for Waimānalo is turning white. And that means when I say that, it's turning the culture that we had here, the local culture. I moved here to be in this culture. And now I'm being forced into another culture that I left. I've been here for a little over 60 years now in the same place. And I've been involved in the neighborhood board. I know the fight that's going on. You got to get tough. Yeah, I mean, you really have to get tough. The gym. We've got Eric should cry for what the gym now, the way it is. There, we got a lot of pickleball. We don't have, but it's hard for the kids to get a reservation to play inside the gym.
Hmm.
The basketball team, Osh, good friend of mine. Great coach, super. He's one of the type that we've come along once in a while to get. He's got enough girls to make 2 teams and a boys team. They can't go in the gym because the PAL didn't go for the permit. You know, people don't know all this permit stuff. That's our gym. And we don't have anybody there that, you know, I've gone in and complained. I told them what I thought of them. And
They said, don't come back, Mr. Larson.
that's not us. We can't do anything. You got to go to, you know, see him, and then you go see her, and then they go see him. No,
Mhm.
that's all baloney.
True.
I mean, the people here, if you have grandchildren, you better step up and start taking care of them and your own children and give them what they deserve. They deserve to have a good time in life.
Voila.
Otherwise, you know what you're going to get in the end. You're going to get a bunch of unhappy kids, and things are going to be kind of tough.
Hmm.
You know, I love these kids. These are the best kids. You can't, and maybe they're not that most academic, but we have some tremendous athletes. We got them playing pro football too.
Hmm.
God's sakes, you know, our pride that we have here, where is it? I know you folks are old. You know, I mean, you don't get involved in really with the sports and stuff with the kids. I don't know if you have grandchildren or children, and or if you do, and you're wondering, well, what can my kids do?
Hmm.
You can get up and raise hell, and that's what's got to happen.
Mahalo, Mr. Larson. Thank you as always for your thoughts. Kanala, question for the city.
Hi, Kanala Kamala Nilai, Waimānalo Neighborhood Board. A few questions for city and county. You could come back with answers. First question is, why is our members and community getting cited or busted for caring for our city and county park and rec fields if it's needed? There should be like a Good Samaritan pass, or if you guys can look into that on how our community members do not get penalized for doing a good deed, especially if it's for the kids. Also, there's about 6 months into this new flood risk map opens in June 10th. What is the transitional process that would help those that are newly found in flood zones, and how you're going to help them with transitioning, not only with the new lines, but also with the new expenses, with the new insurance, and also understanding that we do have both DHHL and private homeowners, and how is that going to impact the community as a whole? Third, we are very diverse culture in Oahu, but also Waimānalo. So what is the city and county's plan on helping to compensate with getting rid of the fireworks? Like, are you guys going to start doing live shows where families can go and enjoy their time with their family, where a licensed pyrotechnic could shoot fireworks for us, like Ala Moana Beach, Sand Island, Magic Island? Like, how is the city going to start implementing ways that, yes, we understand there's people utilizing fireworks illegally, but how is city going to work with our community to keep this culture alive? Because we have Hawaiian, we have Chinese, we have Japanese, we have all of the diversity in Oahu that depends on these fireworks to release whatever energy that was there in the past to welcome the new year. Last question. How can city and county talk to park and recs to put prioritization on children's sports? Because it is highly needed. We see it in social media. We see it in Hungry Hawaiian News that our kids are sort of going a little bit out there. But if I'm in Nala, I know we're a very big sport family community. How can we get park and recs or city and county to prioritize or at least streamline children's sports teen sports, even high school sports. Thank you.
Mahalo, Canela.
So we'll take down the questions and we'll get more information for you on those. I do want to let you know that one good news, we do have adopt-a-park programs, and if people don't want to go through formal adopt-a-park, they can just work with our staff, but we don't penalize anybody for helping to take care of fields. We have had problems though in the past where sometimes people have done actions where they've actually damaged the fields. So we do work with people who want to fix them up to make sure to minimize the damage, but we can get more information to you on all 4 questions for the next meeting.
Thank you, Director.
Thank you, Canela. Director, I have a few follow-ups very briefly as well. Yeah, I share the concern about the flood risk maps. I think the perception right now is that the federal government has declared that this is the new standard. And then I'm just curious, what has been the county's response to that? And I bring this up at a very unique time because, again, the Charter Commission, declined to pursue forwarding several very relevant amendments to the charter on their agenda this afternoon. And some of it talks about emergency disaster preparedness plans. There is this idea of, sorry, I'm trying to look it up, a branch within CCSR to think about biocultural remediation. And I'm just curious why or how the city is planning to work with its population, especially in these areas where we have rural communities that will struggle to do this. And like Mr. Larson shared, it's a mandate essentially, or maybe not a mandate, but it's a very strong push. And does the city, like, what is the reaction from the city, I guess, is my question. And I'd love to entertain some conversations around what that's going to look like for members of our community over the next 6 months as they prepare for this. And I'm excited to take a look at these maps, because one interesting fact, and Director, I'm very sure that you're aware, some of our most flood-prone areas happen to be on places that the city manages, including Waimānalo Beach Park, where in the most recent flood maps that were provided by, I think the University of SOEST at the University of Hawaii, demonstrate that the resulting impact of a reduced sand dune system in the pinewood trees or the ironwood trees across Waimānalo Beach Park contributes to a higher challenge or probability of inundation. And so I know we have the potential in the city and county of Honolulu to do good work, safe work that's inclusive. And I guess it just doesn't all line up. At least these messages don't all line up. And so tonight's not the night to have that hash out, but I think we should. I think we should definitely think about all the things that were brought up this evening and really start to continue to underline the ways in which we're going to create some change. And I think Mr. Larson's example is one that several of us have opted to, some of us sitting in this room, where we, and Director, I know you're very aware of this, where we have chosen to act on behalf of our community and take Kuleana into our hands, rightfully so. And we're going to continue to do so. So the partnership, as I previously have reiterated, is so critical and so important. And so I just want to mahalo you for helping us recognize how much more we have to do to get to a place where we can celebrate the good things that community have. And mahalo you for the opportunity to be very constructive in the way that we deliver the things that are important to us. So mahalo for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. On the flood maps, I think one of the things the city's trying to do right now is to reach out and get information to people as widely as possible so that they can make the best choices. When the federal government comes in and makes a big change like this, they override the state and the counties. And so, we can inform people of the process, we can encourage people to participate in it, but when they make an ultimate decision, we've got to figure out, okay, how do we get information out to people? So part of the neighborhood board process is helping to get information into the hands of people putting together the resilientoahu.org, posting that information centrally, participating in that federal program that would allow us to get a reduction in the insurance rates for residents are all part of the effort of the city to minimize as much as possible the impacts of this decision by the federal government. But I think you're right. You know, the longer conversations are important because we're all struggling to meet all the things that are coming at us from so many different directions, and it's difficult.
Agreed. I appreciate it. Director, one last question, because it's top of mind. The Charter Commission, would you be the individual to provide feedback to them and bring that back to us? Because that sits under the city and county, although it's not assigned to any department. Are you an appropriate pathway to communicate to them?
I think the communication with the Charter Commission is directly with them. There's not an intermediary because there are citizens appointed to review suggestions every 10 years from the public directly. And the whole point is, rather than having only elected officials control decisions, that you would have this citizen panel. So they didn't want to have an intermediary in between that discussion. So individuals, groups, you know, everybody should be communicating directly with the commission.
Understood. I appreciate your comments on that. Director, seeing no other comments here, and sure, Mr. Larson, and then we're gonna move on. Can you come to the mic, or we can bring the mic to you? Canela, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Larson. Sorry, you got to get up.
That's all right. I think our community needs a lawyer to go after Mackay Pier. Because I know for a fact, I worked at the pier for 16 years for Mackay Ocean Engineering. That pier is only there because Waimānalo, was a thing went on with Waimānalo, the leaders of Waimānalo at that time, that it was to be open all the time or certain hours anyhow. When I worked there, I kept the pier open until the last person went out. They locked the gate. And then on the weekends, they hired another person to stay there till 12 o'clock. And he always stayed later and let the people fish. It's the kids and the people that want to come down with the kids. It's in a lease. It's in the lease that it should be open. Because all the other stuff they're telling you is just a way to keep you from doing anything.
Understood. Thank you, Mr. Larson. All right, Director, thank you so much for your time, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay, Kako, we're moving on. Do we have the Department of Transportation? Mr. Abe, are you on this evening?
Okay, can you see my screen here?
Yes, we can. Thank you very much.
Good. Good evening, Chair Kane and members of the Waimānalo Neighborhood Board. Casey Abe from the State DOT Highways. At the October Neighborhood Board meeting, I mentioned the new flashing beacon and school speed limit signs when approaching Waimānalo Elementary and Intermediate School from both directions had been installed. I also mentioned that the city and county recently passed a new law that reduces the speed limit within the school zones from 25 miles an hour to 20 miles an hour. So I thought we needed to change the signs. I apologize, but I made a mistake. Our traffic branch informed me that the new law only applies to schools along city roads and not state roads. So we'll be maintaining the school speed limit sign at 25 miles an hour. Also at the October meeting, I mentioned that I received an email from Board Member Ralston about some of the HECO poles that did not have reflector markers. And during my field inspection, I noticed the protective post around the Board of Water Supply manhole was not painted yellow. Our maintenance crew installed the new markers during my December 12th field inspection, and the Board of Water Supply painted their posts during my January 2nd field inspection. During my December 5th field inspection, I noticed there was a homeless encampment who had been living on the beach across 41692 Colonial Highway that has been placing their trash along the state highway's guardrail. During my December 12th field trip, I noticed the homeless encampment moved next to our guardrail, which is a safety hazard if a vehicle hits the guardrail. Working with our homeless coordinator, his team did a nighttime inspection on December 18th. They tried to help the homeless, but they refused, so our coordinator told the homeless that they had to move away from our guardrail system. The homeless just moved approximately 10 to 20 feet away from the guardrail, back onto the beach outside of the state highways, but in a safer location. Our homeless coordinator is doing weekly checks of the area to ensure the homeless encampment stays away from our guardrail system. And I'm glad to report that on a January 8th field inspection, the homeless camp did not return back to our guardrail system. I want to thank Board Member Austin for his December 3rd email and Galaxy pictures that shows 3 locations on the Makapu side of Knowledge Street that is experiencing erosion problems due to the rainwater runoff from the pavement of Colonial Highway. Talking to our district maintenance office, they hope to have a contractor on board by the end of March to make the necessary repairs. And finally, during my January 2nd field inspection, I bumped into the homeowner at 41668 Colonial Highway, Miss Choi Fu. She was very happy that we finally installed the additional no parking signs on the Makai side of Colonial Highway per request back in July of last year. We normally install no parking signs at approximately 400 feet apart, but if the community requests additional signs, we will install them as long as we do not receive any complaints that we install too many signs. Ms. Joyful did request we clean the drain inlet at Knowledge Street intersection that is covered with overgrowth, so I'm working with our maintenance crew. I did thank Ms. Joyful for sharing a portion of her unpaved shoulder, fronting her rock wall for beachgoers to park their cars, and it's very smart of her to use traffic cones instead of rocks and concrete blocks. As I mentioned at a previous meeting, the homeowner and the state highways may be held liable if a pedestrian, bicyclist, moped rider, or vehicle hits these obstacles on the shoulder and gets hurt. Talking to our traffic branch, per Hawaii Revised Statutes 264-6, no person shall place obstacles within the state highways right-of-way without written permit from the Director of Transportation. For HRS 711-1105, no person shall knowingly or recklessly obstruct any highway or public passage. And for Hawaii's Administrative Rules 19-127.1-6, the roadside should be cleared of all non-essential obstacles as determined by the state and county agency who has jurisdiction. And in this case, the state DOT highways have the jurisdiction. So as I mentioned previously, we understand the homeowner's concern about the public parking in front of their property, but we are concerned about the future lawsuits against the state if an accident occurs and someone gets hurt. If Ms. Choi Fu or residents have concerns about illegal activities at night, the residents can work with the neighborhood board and their state elected officials to request the state highways to install no parking signs during the nighttime hours. This concludes my report. I can take any questions at this time.
Mr. Abe, thank you so much for the detailed report. Members online, questions for State DOT? Lily?
Aloha, Mr. Abe. I just wanted to take a minute to mahalo you for your good work. Thank you so much for that very detailed presentation and for all of your time to do the field inspections and make the improvements for safety of the folks in this area. Mahalo nui.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily. Any other board members online? Seeing none. Ted Ralston, is that oh, he just said nice one. Thank you. Community members online. Seeing none. Canela. Community members here. Okay. Mr. Abe, I do have 2 follow-up questions to some of your presentation. One, who is the homeless coordinator that you refer to?
Homeless Allington Brown.
Mahalo. I would love to have this gentleman come and share with us. And the reason why is, while I can appreciate his concern about the homeless living on the guardrail, I think this community has some experience and definitely has no shortage of challenge with our homeless community and our houseless community. And I want to make sure that he is aware of how this community feels when we have these very challenging conversations. And so I would love to just introduce ourselves to him in the best way that we can, particularly because the outreach, while we recognize is not something that can be forced, I feel like it's still very short-sighted and very short in terms of how it's going to help navigate some of our homeless community members and houseless community members away from the dangers that they're already facing. So if there's a way for us to connect with this gentleman and invite a conversation to the neighborhood board, I would really appreciate that time.
Sure, I'll follow up with him.
Much appreciated. Secondarily, I recognize the need, and that need with regards to that area fronting Nalu Street has been very well documented for many years. In fact, it originated from that very, very heavy cell storm that flooded parts of Ainahaina, and it resulted in that. And part of the issue is the infrastructure to remove and drain the roadway water from across the street fronting, as you recognize, Mr. Choi Fu's home and the Choi Fu Ohana. This past rain event, which was not a very long rain event, yielded a very similar situation where the drain got clogged very quickly because of overgrowth, and then water ran over the road. And so there is an infrastructure issue as well that needs to be addressed, and it's a very premature, temporary, I think, part of the solution to just redo some of that shoulder. And then I'm also questioning what kind of improvements are going to be done. If it's not been present, maybe for you or for the office, we have a lot of opinion, and a lot of opinion comes with a lot of lived experience. And so we really want to be participatory in the design work of that particular function, and not just have something dumped on us is my ask. And more than an ask, it's an assertion. We want to be participating in that conversation and design. We recognize that there are some parameters and we recognize some challenges. And we ask that the city, and that the state also, recognize the value that we can contribute as community members.
Sure.
And so we look forward to partnering with that. And I'm sure Mr. Ralston, Board Member Ralston, would love to be a part of that conversation as he represents that transportation facilities with our community and our board. So if that could be a connection made, that would be really appreciated.
Sure thing.
Perfect. Mr. Abe, thank you so much for your time and your service, sir. Mahalo nui.
Thank you.
Members, we're moving on. We have 4 vacancies. I'm excited to share that the commission authorized the change from sub-districts to at-large vacancies or at-large positions for all 13 positions on the Waimānalo Neighborhood Board. As we know, it's been a challenge to fill some of those seats. And so the intention here was that if it's all at-large, you don't have to live in a specific place except Waimānalo to be able to serve in the last 4 positions that we're looking for. So a public notice of that is happening right now, that there are 4 vacancies on this board that are all at large. All of the board members' positions have been transferred over to at-large positions. So hearing that, are there any members of the community willing to step into any one of these positions? Any recommendations from the board? Hearing none, we will offer that as a continual. Well, we have 2 individuals. Like, are you folks makakau to share that this evening, or you want to do it at the next meeting? Tonight, next meeting? So we have Hoku Akana, who is willing to fulfill a seat. And then we have Kukui as well, willing to share a seat, and the Kuleana here. Basically, ladies, you folks will have to provide proof of residency, which might be a little difficult to do this evening unless you brought it. And then that will have to be taken on with Melissa. So, Kukui, you have information that you can share if we can connect you to Melissa, or you folks want to work on that and then we can bring it up at next meeting.
Sure, Squeaky.
Kuike?
Mahalo for recognizing me. What's the process? I'm just asking, what's the process? If somebody volunteers, would you still need a nomination?
Yeah, typically it has been that way, Kuike. I think there's been some inconsistency throughout about if a person volunteers versus if we want to have a nomination. Generally, we've had people like this volunteer, and then we've had individuals that are sitting on the board make the nomination. So I would hold us to the standard of nominating.
Okay, so if you would entertain, Chair,
Yep.
I would like to take this time to make two nominations tonight. First for Hoku Akana and second for Kukui Akana.
Mahalo.
Second.
Mahalo, Lily. So there are nominees for two positions here. It has been moved and seconded. And again, it's going to be up to Hoku and Kukui to provide the necessary documents to Melissa. So Melissa, you want to recess for this or? To verify? Will they have a chance to provide verifying documents to you tonight, or do you need that? Can that be done tomorrow or? Okay. Okay, perfect. You know what? Why don't we go ahead and do that? Kuike, mahalo for your nominees. Are there any other nominations to be considered? Hearing none. So we have two nominees before us. We have Hoku Akana and then Kukui Akana. If we can have you ladies just introduce yourselves, maybe a little bit of your background to share with folks. And then I want to be as efficient as we can with our time, but we're going to have you folks fill out some information. I know Kukui, you're online. Okay. Kukui, can you send Melissa your email address so she can forward you some documents to get filled out and sent to us? We'll start with Hoku, and then Kukui will take you on after. Mahalo.
Aloha mai kako o wau no o Hoku Akana he kupa aina wau no Waimānalo. Aloha, my name is Hoku Akana. I am born and raised in Waimānalo, and I'm an educator. And I'm happy to kokua where it's needed.
Hola, mahalo. Kukui?
Aloha nui kākou, o wau no o Kukui Akana, he keiki wau na Hoku Akana na Shane Akana. So I am Kukui Akana. I'm a native daughter born and raised of Waimānalo. I'm currently in my first year of law school at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, William Richardson School of Law. And I would be privileged to be of service to my kaiaulu. And as Uncle Larson was saying earlier, I would like to be that lawyer one day. Mahalo.
There you go, Mr. Larson. They're up and coming. She said she's willing to be that lawyer you talked about. And you know what? She was a child of the gym as well. All right. I do want to mahalo you ladies for stepping up. There is some information that you will have to finalize that will be sent over to you folks. But I think at this time, we'll just do, there's nobody opposing. So do we need them to vote with a name for each position? Generally, we have to do like a roll call with the name.
Chair Squeaky.
Kuike?
I believe this is the first vote of the night.
Mm-hmm.
So we may have to do
a
roll call.
Yeah. Mahalo for that, Vice Chair. So members, we're gonna take one vacancy at a time. Might be a little confusing because they're both Akana and they're both for at large, but we'll do Hoku Akana for an at-large position. It's been moved and seconded. When your name is called, please state your position by stating the full name, Hoku Akana. Ikino? Gonna be us, yeah. Members, is that clear? If you want Hoku to sit in the seat, say her full name. And then we'll do the same for Kukui. Sure, just her name is fine. Yeah, just the name. Any other clarifications? Okay, hearing none. We'll start with Kuike, Vice Chair.
Hokuakana.
Mahalo. Lily Makaila.
Hokuakana.
Mahalo. Jenna McKeed. No vote. Moyata.
Hokuakana.
Mahalo. Kapiolani.
Hokuakana.
Thank you, Ted.
Hokuakana.
Mahalo. Brenda.
Hokuakana.
Canela.
Hokuakana.
Mahalo. Chair votes aye. Members, that is Chair votes Hokuakana as well. Excuse me. That brings us to 8, recognizing 8 votes for Hokuakana for the at-large position. Mahalo nui hoku for serving. Mahalo to all of you folks. Secondly, we have a secondary vacancy at-large position for Kukuya Kana. Members, same process. We'll just do roll call just to go through it. Canela.
Do I say your name?
Kukuya Kana. Yeah.
Hokuakana.
Mahalo. Vice Chair Kamakea Ohelo.
Kukuiakana.
Mahalo. Lily.
Kukuiakana.
Thank you, Jenna. No vote. Moyata.
Kukuiakana.
Mahalo. Kapiolani.
Kukuiakana.
Thank you, Ted.
Kukuiakana.
Mahalo, Brenda.
Kukuiakana.
Mahalo nui. Chair votes Kukuya Kana. That gives us 8 total votes. Welcome, Kukuya, and mahalo for your service. Recognizing that, and of course, pending the information and confirmation with information, we will also need to have you folks read. The oath of office has to be administered. So we can have it just read, and I'll turn that over to Melissa to conduct that.
Since Kukuya Kana is online, if you could just follow along, and then you can also go on the mic to follow along as well. Wait, let me see if I could. I don't have it open. I'm sorry. If she. On the phone. Okay, if you could please follow after me. I solemnly swear or affirm
I solemnly swear or affirm
that
I
I will
solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully support the Constitution
that I will faithfully support
that I will faithfully support the Constitution
and the laws of the United States of America
and the laws of the United
and the
States.
laws of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Hawaii,
The Constitution and laws of the state of Hawaii.
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Hawaii,
the charter and laws of the city and county of Honolulu,
The charter and laws of the
the
city.
charters and laws of the city and county of Honolulu,
and the provisions of the neighborhood plan,
And the provisions of the neighborhood
and the
plan.
provisions of the neighborhood plan,
and will conscientiously and impartially discharge my duties
And will
and will
conscientiously
conscientiously
and
and
impartially
impartially discharge my duties
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
as a member of the neighborhood board
as a member of the neighborhood board
as a member of the neighborhood board
to which I have been elected or appointed.
to which I have been appointed.
to which I have been elected or appointed.
Congratulations. Mahalo. There are still 2 vacancies available at large positions to fill the last 2 of this board. So we know that it can be an interesting journey on the neighborhood board, to say the least. You're right, Mr. Larson. But I cannot emphasize how important this body can be for this community, and just mahalo to them for that service. Members, we're going to continue on while paperwork gets completed with some community organization reports.
Chair.
First, yes, Kuike.
Before we move on, since we're still on this agenda item, Can we, as a neighborhood board, make a request that the oath of office be presented to us in Olelo, Hawaii?
Absolutely.
That's something that I'd like for our city and county to step up
Sure.
and rise to the occasion. So
Yeah, I
just drop
think
it on the table.
I think there are several options for us. We can provide that feedback through our NCO assistant to inquire. We can also submit more written about that quicker as well. I think that would be a good opportunity for us to formalize that expectation. And then there's also opportunities to address it within the neighborhood plan. So certainly, yeah, through the commission, we might be able to make some. So we can agendize that if you didn't be interested in that next meeting. Perfect.
Yes, Chair,
Mahalo.
absolutely. Because it's something that we will be taking on more frequently. With every year, we gotta go through this process.
Mahalo. Noted. Okay, we're gonna move on, gang. Recognizing that it's 8:20, I do have a request of the board. We do have some students that are online, and I want to recognize them. There are some participating from Kailua High School's Kekula Kayapuni, and then we have some students that are participating from Halau Hekili as observers this evening. I want to move the student presentations that are listed on the resident community and announcement public reports for Kula Kayapuni up to follow the presentations of the education reports in an effort to get them off earlier. Any objections to that? Okay, so we'll call up the Kula Kayapuni folks shortly after we do Malamahonua Public Charter School. We'll slot you guys in there following the education reports. Hikina. Okay, and then I understand we're going to go through Waimānalo Elementary Intermediate School. Do we have anyone present from the school? Hearing none. Blanche Pope Elementary. Hearing none. Malamahonua Public Charter School.
Aloha, Chair. Do you want the students to go before me?
No, you're fine. They're going right
Okay.
after you. Thank you.
Okay, good on. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. I think. Can you guys see that?
No.
Oh. Let's see. How about that?
Yep, you're good to go.
Okay, right on. Mahalo.
Mahalo nui.
Aloha, Ovao Denise Espana. I will be quick so that we can hear the haumana from Malamahonua Public Charter School. Mahalo nui, Chair and the board for always welcoming us to share a little bit about what is going on. We started back this semester with this Olelo no Eao, A'ohe ulu e loa'a I ka po kole o kalau. Really what we want to be thinking about as we reach into our second half of the year is that with having us to reflect upon the importance of preparation and the importance of being mindful of that preparation, and that preparation is really important if we want to be able to achieve all of our goals. So we ended the year since the last time we spoke, celebrating La Ku'oko'a, our Independence Day, with history, Makahiki games, making and decorating Hai Hawaii, and just being reflective.
Be doing a very simple dance I created called La Vida del Amor, a life of love. Is everybody ready? I'm
That's not me.
sorry. This is weird. I cannot be partnered
Honey?
with my brother for this.
Yeah. Oh, let's switch. I'll
Can we
dance with you.
mute
Then
you?
can dance.
I don't think that's me.
No, that's not you. Definitely not you.
Okay.
Again, reminder to please keep yourself muted. Thank you.
Okay, I'll quickly move through. We also wanted to share, we had a La Ohana where Kiahi here was able to share, and we celebrated the last mahina of 2025, the mahina set at Kaiona.
He gave us a quick lesson around for our kindergarten through second graders around the rising and setting of our mahina as well as la, and also did a quick talk about the importance of knowing about the rising and setting of stars, sun, moon, through using you can kind of see in this picture the planets and how they and the how everything all works together so that our babies could understand. We also celebrated with our community the Christmas parade with full Paniolo style. We decorated our vans and passed out again this year. Hi Hawaii. Just wanting to comment, it's really nice to see less candy out and more fun things being passed out on our parade route. Important dates moving forward for Malamahunua. Our application window is now open through March 31st. Just a reminder, we are a free public charter school and we are open to everyone. Of course, wanting to encourage our Waimānalo community to apply, and you can check us out online. Looking ahead, we will have Haumana participating in the Onipa'a March on the 16th. We will have Haumana sharing their learning on the lawn and doing some ku'i at the Capitol on January 21st for opening session. And that will be a full day of student-led conferences on January 30th. I believe that is all. Oya Valeno. Mahalo.
Mahalo nui. Po'okula, thank you so much for that. Any questions from board members online? Hearing none. Community members online? Kanala, community members here? Seeing none. Mahalo nui, Danny. Excuse me. Let me take that. Denise, thank you so much for sharing the important work that continues to be a part of the Kula. We're excited for that.
Mahalo nui.
Okay, we're gonna move on to Kikula Kaiapuni o Kailua, and I'm gonna call up Kumuhokua Kana to introduce the Haumana. The Haumana do have a presentation to share. There's two, and I understand that they might be a little hila, so or maka'u, I don't know which one, but we're here for you, and we're here to serve you, and so this is Ohana, and we're gonna provide that opportunity. Mahalo kumu.
Aloha. In one of my hats, I'm also recently become the Kaiapuni Kumu at Kigula Kaiapuni o Kailua. And these, our Haumana, have been doing action research projects in the community on different questions because a lot of our epistemologies in education from the Western perspective say that if we olala Hawaii, it is not as good as being English. And that if we are olala Hawaii, we cannot be researchers. And in that sense, not as equally valued is our knowledge systems as other places. So this project is in an effort to prove that, well, just reaffirm, not even prove, because it's something that we know, that Native Hawaiian and other indigenous researchers can research at a very high level. We have multiple perspectives, and they're here to share with you their ike that they've learned so far this past semester through community interviews, readings that they've done both online and annotations, discussions, and also what they've learned from their class at WCC through the early college program, Earth 103. So up first is, pink, sorry. Up first is Keiki Kalama, and she will be sharing about her Nino. It's going to be in Olala Hawaii, but the slides are in English for your reading understanding. So if you have access to that, you'll be able to see that there. And it's only one slide, so she will just walk us through it with her ha'iolalo.
And I apologize for those that are in person. This is the biggest we can kind of make it right now for this particular slide. So with the Kumu's permission and the Haumana's permission, if we might be able to drop a copy of this into the drive for people to reference, we'll we'll get that into the drive for future references. Makoko,
Ai,
mahalo. Eleonuia,
ai. Aloha mai kako o Kiki Kalama ko Uinoa, o Brandon ko Umaku Kane a o Christy ko Umaku Hine. No hopu lawa a hana mai la o lawa o Eris a me Kami Kalama. Aia wau ma ka papa umi kumakahi mai Waimanalo mai au. O apua kea ka ua a o limu lipu upu o kamakani. He pua a Brandon Law o Christy. O ka mana o nui o ka upapahana o ka pili ana o ka emi o ka mea ai. He pono ole ka pokole o ka mea ai mai ka I ma ke kumole kuloko ke akahi o ke kahi mea a ui helu helu ai. E wehe ho ana ka moku aina o Hawaii I ke ki ana ina I a ko'a. Ko I ke ia no ka mea ina a ohe kumawaiwai, ole hiki ke hanai mako I ka mea ai I ko mako ohana. Ma ke kahi nina wele me kumolesa ka manu, o olalo oia ko I ke ia ma muli o ka loa a ana I ke kahi onai hana mea ai mai ka I. Pono mako e malama I ka aina no ka mea hua ka aina I ko mako aina. Heli I ka aina he kawa ke kanaka. He koʻikoʻi loa kēia no ka mea hoʻike ʻia ke koʻikoʻi o ka malama ʻaina I ka ʻaina I mea hua ka ʻaina I ko mākou mea ʻai. Ma kekahi ninauele me ʻana kalakimi ona kane ua ʻolelo ʻoia, ʻaʻohe mea e ʻai ina ʻaʻole kāpae mākou ina iʻa ʻaʻole kamaʻaina I ke kāpae na iʻa ʻaʻole kamaʻaina I ko mākou mau iʻa e pono ana mākou e ʻai ina iʻa kamaʻaina ʻole. ʻAʻole hiki iā mākou ke ʻai no ka mea ʻaʻole maikaʻi ka I ona pa ili a ka ʻaiana, kekahi he kōheoheo, a kekahi he mea pōʻino I ke ino, I ke kino, a pela aku. He koʻikoʻi kēia no ka mea ʻaiana ana kekahi manawa e kuana na moku ʻaina, a me lika mai a ke hiki mai kēlā manawa ʻaʻole e hiki ana mākou e ʻai I ka iʻa me ka loa ʻaʻole ana ina ʻo maʻimaʻi. ʻAʻole kēlā ke kumu e pono ʻole ka pōkole, o ka mea ʻai maikaʻi ma ke kumu ole kūloko. O ke kumu o kēia nō ʻoia ka ʻimi ana I ke ʻano o ka hopena o ke ola o ke kai a me na koʻa ma luna o na loko iʻa o Waimanalo a me na ʻonai hana mea ʻai ma ona ʻike o ke kaiāulu. Ua hoʻohana kēia papahanā I kahi ʻenehana noiʻi hoʻohui mixed methods e nana hohonu I ka ninau. Pehea ke olakino o ke kai a me na ʻonai hana koʻa e hoʻokumu ana I nā loli I loko o nā loko I o Oahu. ʻOe loʻo. Ke hōʻiliʻili ʻia nei ka ʻikepili ma o nā ʻatikala me na kuhikuhi, na nānā ʻana a me na ninauele me na loea o ke kaiāulu. O ka nui laʻana he laʻana koho pūkala ʻoia hoʻi o ka persuasive sampling, ʻia ona kumu ʻike hiki ke pane pololei I ka ninau. Pehea ke olakino o ke kai a me na ʻonai hana koʻa a hoʻokumu ana I nā loli I loko o nā loko iʻa o Oahu. ʻOe loa ma Waimanalo. O nā ʻano kālailai I ke pili he kālailai kumuhana ʻoia hoʻi o ka thematic analyst a me ke kālailai ʻike ʻoia hoʻi o ke content analyst. Ma muli o ka ʻikepili ʻana I hōʻiliʻili ʻai a hiki I kēia wā, he nui ka hopena o ke kulana o ka loko iʻa ke kai a me ka ʻonai hana a hupuaʻa I ka nui o nā mea ʻai kuʻuna ma Oahu. ʻOe aku hoʻi no nā ʻohana o Waimanalo, he mea koʻikoʻi kiaʻi a kanalua hoʻi kākou I kēia kulana no ka mea e hiki mai ana ka lā ʻaʻole e hiki mai ana nā moku lawe ʻai e kākoʻo mai a kākou. A I kēlā manawa ʻaʻole kākou e hiki ke ʻai I nā iʻa o ko kākou kai no ka mea ʻaʻole paha e koe kekahi. Ua ʻike au I kēia mamuli o kahi ninau aʻui hana ʻai me Kimiona Kane. Wahi ana o ka nui a kākou lawe ana I nā iʻa, ʻoia no ka emi ana o ko kākou e loaʻa I ka wā e pau ai ka holo ʻana mai o nā moku. ʻAʻole hiki iā kākou ke hilina I mau I nā moku e lawe mai I ka mea ʻai no laila pono nō e hōʻemi I ka nui o ka lawaiʻa. ʻAʻole wale nō e pōmaikaʻi ai kākou ma ka mea ʻai, akā e pono pū ana ia I ke kai a me nā koʻa ola. Inā ʻaʻole mākou he iʻa e hoʻomaʻemaʻe I nā koʻa, e ino loa ke kai. He mea nui ke ona ka mea e noho ana ka makamoku I loa a wale ia na kumu vai I na kuʻai ia aku na iʻa o ka ʻapaʻa na wai e pōmaikaʻi ai ke hiki ʻole iā kākou pahupoʻa na ʻohana a me na keiki. I ke kau kupulawi o 12 kaukani 12 kumono, e hoʻomau ana au I ka hana no ʻima o ke kilo ʻana a me na ninau e leho. Ina he hoihoi po I kēia kumuhana hiki ke hui pū me kekahi mau papahana ʻelua e kokua ana ma Waimānalo ʻoia hoʻi o ka 5 hui o Waimānalo lau o ke kulanui o Waimānalo. E laʻana koʻikoʻi ka loko iʻa o kekahi ʻāpana nui o nā ʻonaihana e pono ai so kākou lāhui e puka a holomua ma Oahu. Pono ka mālama mau ʻia o nā loko iʻa I mea e ola pono ai ka ʻonaihana. Ka hemo ana I nā mea komo ʻino I mea e ulu ai nā kumu waiwai. Pūlohelohe a kupuna hoʻi. Hiki ke hoʻopili ʻia kēia laʻana no ko kākou Hawaiʻi aloha. He aliʻi ka ʻaina he kauā ke kanaka. Mahalo nui no ka lohe ana e pili ana I koʻu papahana. Me ke aloha nui, keiki ka lava.
Oh yeah, mahalo nui a oi. Hoʻomaikaʻi. Yeah, paʻipaʻi lima. Ola. Pehea.
Maikaʻi.
Maikaʻi. For the sake of time, I'm just going to ask to move into the next presentation. If there are questions, we'll be happy to. Yahikino. We look forward to sharing feedback with you, members of the board. If we might provide some energy into our keiki questions, drop them in the chat. Recognitions, drop them in the chat, and we'll get them across to our homana. Anyone really, if you want to participate in the growth of our keiki, please provide your feedback. Mahalo. Okay, Maikai, we're going to move to the next presenter. Palamaya, as I get them set up, and I appreciate everyone's patience as we do so. So let me move to the next one. Okay. ¿Cómo?
Okay, well, this homana is a 10th grader. Her name is Ilikea Kael Cash, and her topic is our disappearing shorelines and rising oceans.
Uy, aloha. Yeah, Maikai.
Hikino.
Aloha.
Felina mai kako wili kia ka au cash po ui noa. O ke ola cash ke kane a o pua ka au koine no hopu lawa a hani ai o Isaiah ka au cash, Isaac ka au cash, ana ko hope a ku ia oe loa o iho i o au. Ai au makupapu umi ma ke kula kai puni o kailua. E ho o lia ana ia u e ka makani o lipu. Ka lipu ui ka ua hele i o apua kia I ka uaina aloha o iho I o Waimānalo. He moho au a Michelle no. E wala au ana au e pili ana I ka nina o pehea ke kulana o ke kai e ho'o hui ai ho'o huli ia I ka pi'i ana o ke kai a me ka nalo ana o ka e kai ma Waimānalo o e loa ma ke kaha kai o kai ona. E pili ke ana ho'i ka pi'i ana o ke kai. A o climate change ka pili ke nui e like me ka alelo a PBS News Hour. Ko'i ke lana ko ngai ina ole ma'e māku ina ole ma'e na ia I ke po'a e ho'ololi ana I ka ana welo o ke kai ka'ina o ka haunene e hehe a ma ke kahi walau a'ui I loa'a me ka ukumu a me na ho'opapa ua lalo ka ukumu a ole e ho'ololi ana ke kai ma Hawai'i wale no a ka ma nā wahi like ole o ka honua. Ko'i ke lana ka mea I ho'okahi haneli ma makahiki e kohu like ana o Hawai'i me mai kone kia I nā ho'omau ka pi'i ana o ke kai. Elikime Kamele, Kathy Jetnell Kigninger, Auleo Ike na ua ororo I kana inoa me ka polole a ka ke olalane oia ma kela mele ho'ololi ana ka pi'i ana o ke kai I kona keiki a me na hanauna e a'e no ka mea peha I na ʻaʻohe lākou I kekahi wahi e kahea I ko lākou home. A koʻikoʻi kēlā no ka mea pi'i a'e ia I ka manaʻo o ka home ʻole a he pilikia kēlā no nā kanaka polenekia. O kēlā no ka mea he pilikia ka pi'i ʻana o ke kai. O ke kumu o kēia iminoʻi ʻo ia hoʻi ka iminoʻi ana I ka hopena o ka olakino o ke kai ma luna o ka pi'i a'e ʻana o ke kai a me ka loli ʻana o ke a'e kai ma Waimānalo ʻo Ilua ma Kaiona ma o nā ʻike o nā kaiāulu. Ua hoʻohana kēia papahana I ke ʻenehana iminoʻi hui ʻo ia hoʻi nā mix methods e nana honu I pehea pehea ke kulana o ke kai e huli ai ka pi'i ʻana o ke kai a me nanalo ana o nā ʻaʻe kai ma Waimānalo ʻo Ilua o ke kākai ma Kaiona. Ke hoʻoiliili ʻia nei nā ʻikepili ma o nā ʻatikala a me nā kuhikuhi nā nānā ʻana a me nā ninauele me nā loea o ke kaiāulu. O ka nuila ʻana he laʻana kohu kulana ʻoiai hoʻi o ka purposive ʻai o nā kumu ʻike hiki ke pane pololei I nā ninau I ka ninau pehea e kulana o ke kai pehea ke kulana o ke kai e hoʻohuli ia I ka pi'i ʻana o ke kai a me nā nalo ʻana o ke ʻaʻe kai ma Waimānalo ʻo Ilua o Kaiona. O nā ʻano kālailai I ke pili he kālailai kumuhana ʻo ia hoʻi ka thematic analysis a me nā kālailai ʻike ʻo ia hoʻi o ka contact analysis. I ke kau kupulau o 2025 he hoʻomau ana au I ka hana iminoʻi aʻo ke kilo ʻana a me nā ninauele hou. Inā he hoihoi kou I kēia kumuhana hiki ke hui pū me kēia mau papahana ʻelua e kōkua ana ma Waimānalo ʻo ia hoʻi ka limu hui o Waimānalo lawa o 808 Clips. O ka pi'i ʻana o ke kai a me ka nalo ʻana o nā aniau he nui ko lākou hopena ma nā kahakai ke olakino o nā ʻāpana ke komo ana I nā kumu ai a me ke olakino holoʻokoʻa o ka hupuaʻa no ka wā hiki mai ana o ko lākou lau o kākou lāhui. He aliʻi ka ʻaina he koa ke kanaka mahalo no kou hoʻolohe ana mai.
Ola mahalo nui a oi. Paʻipaʻi lima kākou mahalo. Ui pehea. E ilikia pehea. Maikai. Ola. Kumu, any final closing? Again, we invite the public participating this evening to contribute to these haumana by way of question, comments. We would love to be able to share our reflections back to them for their work. And so I'll turn it back over to Kumu for closing thoughts.
Okay, well, this is just an example of the very high level of research that they're doing, and they can operate at the university level, Makolala Hawaii, and they're only in 10th and 11th grade. So it shouldn't be this is to encourage more students to join the Kayapuni because it is a program that's just starting and we are looking for more students. And to that point, with my community hat, we want to contribute to growing the Olelo Hawaii amongst not only our keiki, but older Opio and our Makua so that it can be a living language in Waimānalo, which is one of 3 predominantly Native Hawaiian communities that where it should live. So that's something I would like to work on. with our board.
Wala, mahalo nui. Oh, my kai. Okay, Kako, we're gonna move on.
Chair,
Yep, kuike.
he mana'o pokole kau. Ina
Hiki no.
I ke kālele aku I kia mana'o ia kumua kāna. E aho paha e kona hou aku ia kumua me kāna mau haumāna I kia mahina ae ma Pepeluwali I hiki a kako ke kaiulu o Waimānalo e hui pū me ko kako lahui kanaka ma o ka o nui ana I ko kako ike a me ke kaana ana ma ka olelo Hawaii ma loko ka mahina o Pepeluwali ka mahina o lelo Hawaii. So it's just a short message. I know we got to address our mana'o to you, Chair, but if we can just relay this to Kumuakana and if her and her haumana could be invited back to next month's board meeting, that way Waimānalo can share within the celebrations of Mahina o Lalo Hawaii, which is Pepeluwali.
Hola. Como said hiki no? Hiki ke ho'okomo maka agenda hiki no. Okay, Kako, mahalo nui. We are going to continue on. Do we have anyone from Hui Malamo Kai? Hearing none. Windward Community College. Chancellor, thank you for being here. Happy New Year.
Aloha, Chair Kane. Happy New Year. Mahalo for having me. I'll be super quick. It's a long meeting. On this Saturday at 10 a.m., we're going to be hosting another Aloha giveaway. This is a gifting economy event. People come and they set up to give things away, and people come and they take the things that people are giving away. No money is exchanged. Nothing starts before 10 a.m. unless you're a gifter. You're allowed to come a little early and set up. But you're not allowed to go and look at things until 10 a.m. and it's exactly 1 hour. It's a great time. We invite anyone in the community to come along. People are able to obtain lots of interesting stuff, and then they sometimes come back the next month and give it away too. So it's a very circular economy, but it's a fun event. Hope people will come. The next thing I'd like to announce is we have an upcoming gallery exhibit starting January 23rd, which is Kikilolani, which is Robert Casimiro's exhibit. So that's going to be a fabulous exhibit. Gallery Iolani is open every day. I can post their hours in the chat if needed, but we hope people will come out to see that exhibit. And we start back, and tomorrow there's a welcome back event for students. Our enrollment's up. We're really excited to have students back on campus and get back into the educational groove again. Mahalo nui.
Chancellor, mahalo nui for your time and service. And exciting events. We're excited to hear what you folks are doing. Members online, questions for WCC? Seeing none. Any community members online? Seeing none. Canela? Community members present? None. Chancellor, thank you again very much, and we look forward to a productive school year with you folks. Thank you. We're going to move on. Do we have Auntie Ilima with CTAR? Okay, hearing none, we're going to move on. Hawaii Job Corps, Auntie Julie.
Aloha, Julie Dugan from Hawaii Job Corps. I just want the community to know that Job Corps is open and we're actively enrolling new students weekly. We offer center tours every Thursday at 9 a.m. Reservations are encouraged. Anyone interested can call me directly at 808-227-9686. We're also recruiting for staff positions. You know, we are 24/7 operations, so we always need security and safety staff. We also need residential advisors, recreational advisors, academic instructors. We have a cook helper position open. We have a senior accounting clerk position open, a career counselor. We also have just announced we are needing a maintenance worker, and this is because we have promoted one of our maintenance workers as the building and construction instructor, and he just happens to be a Waimānalo resident, so we're very excited about that. So anyone can call me directly to find out about more opportunities. So if you're looking for a meaningful career, Hawaii Job Corps could be the place for you. Upcoming
Julie,
events,
go ahead.
Yeah, we are excited to announce our first graduation ceremony coming up on Thursday, February 19th, where we're going to celebrate about 25 of our young adults who have completed their high school diploma. We have asked Representative Lisa Martin, who has been a huge Job Corps champion, to be our keynote speaker. So if anyone out in the community wants to learn more about the program, amazing opportunities for both young adults or for staff opportunities, please call me directly. My cell number is 808-227-9686. And again, I just want to mahalo the community and all of our supporters across the state during our past year potential shutdown. So because everyone spoke out, we are actively enrolling and here to serve the community. Mahalo.
Mahalo nui, Auntie Julie. Thank you so much. Members online, questions for Job Corps? Community members online? Seeing none. Canela? Community members present. Seeing none. Auntie Julie, mahalo nui and congratulations on another year. Thank you for your service.
Mahalo.
Members, we're going to move on. We have Waimānalo Health Center. Jasmine?
Aloha.
Aloha, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I have a few quick announcements. One, Happy New Year, and wanted to share some health resources for those wanting to focus on their wellness journey this year. Some of the programs that we have, Ola Hoi Kahula, that's open to those with heart disease or hypertension. We shared about diabetes management programs in October. So we have a prevention program and a management program. Cooking classes, and we also have registered dietitian services. So if anyone's looking to get involved in those programs, Jennifer would be the best contact. I'll put her number in the chat, but it's 954-7162. I also wanted to share again that we have a free support program for anyone wanting to quit smoking or vaping, or even wanting to cut back and do that less. You can call us at 259-7948. And those appointments are one-on-one and they can be in person or on telehealth. Lastly, there were a couple of questions in October about the diabetes programs. I'm saying October, but I think it was November, excuse me. There was a question about, do you have to have diabetes to be part of the diabetes talk story? Yes, you do have to have diabetes to be part of that group. And then there was a question about if youth can be part of the prevention program, the diabetes prevention. That one is open to 18 or older. Those are the announcements that I have. Thank you.
Jasmine, thank you so much for being here. Happy New Year. Members online, questions for the Health Center? Community members online? Seeing none. Canela? Community members present? Hearing none. Jasmine, thank you so much for your service and time. We look forward to learning with you folks this year as well. Mahalo.
Mahalo.
Okay, Kako, we're moving on. Bellows Air Force, stepping back. Waimānalo Homestead Association. Hearing none. Bellows Air Force Station. Hearing none. Marine Corps Base Hawaii. Christy, are you still on? Yes, you are. Christy Kaluhiva, Marine Corps Base Hawaii.
Yes. Hi.
Aloha, welcome.
Aloha.
Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year. It's really good to be back. I am not going to put camera on due to our limited internet over here. It always stalls on my phone. But it is very good to see all of you. I am glad to be back. It has been really long. I just returned back to work today after a long vacation, including the things that happened prior to that. But to make it really quick, I wanted to just update you folks on a few things that we have up and coming. We're going to be having the closing of our makahiki in February, and we work, as you folks may know, with some of the lineal descendants in Kailua and Kaneohe. We're going to extend out to a couple of invitations to some other community members, and I'll be invitations out to some of our board members Chair Kimiona. That would be you. And we would also like to let everybody let everybody know that coming up this summer, we're going to be having a change of command. Our CO will be retiring, and we will be getting a new CO. We're looking at maybe May or June, just to prepare everybody for that change. We do not have a name. We do know that he is already on island, but I have not been provided a name of who our new CEO will be. There's a couple of other opportunities coming up every month or quarter. Our athletics department hosts a 5K run, and this is open to the broader community. And I will send the information to you, Chair Kane, so that you can share this with other board members and community members that would be interested on how the public can process to come and participate. Some of these 5K runs are at full moon, so they'll run on the base, on the runway during the full moon in just different locations. Really nice opportunities for the community to come out and participate in different athletics, as well as be able to see the installation in different areas. Our single marine program has been very involved in the community, and I also wanted to share that if there are different events that Waimānalo has need of a single marine group to come out to participate, if you share that information with me, I'll be able to get that to the coordinator. Her name is Janelle, and we can work it into the schedule. Usually their group is relatively about 10 to 15 single Marines. They've been participating with Access Surf, which has been really well received. They really enjoy doing that. But if there's something the community in Waimānalo would like to have the single Marines come out, let me know and we can get you folks connected. That's all I have for tonight.
Chrissy, mahalo nui. Thank you so much for all the information. Happy New Year. Members online, questions
Yeah.
for McTown, Marine Corps Base? Hearing none. Any community members online? Hearing none. Canela, community members present. Okay. Hearing none. Christy, mahalo nui. We look forward to working with you continue 2026. Thank you. Okay. Hawaii Army National Guard. Hearing none. All right, gang, we're going to move on to resident community concerns, announcements, and public reports. Recognizing that it's 8:58, we still have quite a bit to go through as far as board business with at least 2 other presentations along with our elected officials. So I want to ask that we get our questions aligned quickly and to the point. And then if there are questions that we might want to have in future conversations, we can provide that to our providers, our presenters, and request a follow-up later. At this time, we're going to call up our Kawailoa Youth and Family Wellness Center presenters. I think they're going to be online, and then we have a few folks here in person to share part of their project. So the time is yours. Not at all. We would love to have that. Thank you.
Aloha. Sorry, let me just pull up the presentation.
Thank you. And I can take whatever's left to distribute as well if you after all of this. Thank you.
Oh,
Okay. Is your
sorry.
name pronounced Kara or Kara?
Kara.
Kara. Okay. You let us know what you need. Otherwise,
Okay.
you should have all the sharing privileges, and then we'll turn it over to your team.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you. Can you see my screen?
Yes, you're good to go.
Okay. Thank you. Aloha Chair Kane and members of the board. My name is Kara Kadota Ito. I'm from Bowers and Kubota. We're here tonight to share the efforts that have been underway to prepare a master plan for the Kawailoa Youth and Family Wellness Center, or the KYFWC for short. So to start, we'll introduce the project team, some of whom should be there in person and others who are online. So from the KYFWC and Office of Youth Services, they own and manage the facility. We have Leanne Gillespie, who's Executive Director, Mata Alava, Deputy Youth Facility Administrator, Cousin Kaho'okele, Corrections Program Specialist, and Daryl Bueno, Institutional Facilities Superintendent. From the State of Hawaii Department of Accounting and General Services, we have Jess Evelar. DAGS is the agency who's managing the project. And then from the consultant team, we have Harold Inouye from Anbe, Uruga, and Nishizu Architects. And then, as I mentioned before, I'm from Bowers and Kubota. We're the engineering and planning consultant. We have Mike Nishimura, Josh Guzman, and Tai Shiramizu joining us tonight.
And I know the
So-
camera doesn't show it, but many of them are here in the audience. So I'm going to turn my laptop very quickly to show you folks who they are. But mahalo.
Yeah, apologies for not being able to attend in person tonight. And Ty's also a little under the weather, so he'll just be online to help us take notes and answer questions. So we'll just get into the presentation. You know, we have some limited time. We just covered our introduction, so next we'll present the project background. Then we'll go over the draft master plan, and then we'll go over our next steps. So the objectives of this presentation is to provide everyone with an overview of the whole planning process that led us to the master plan, present the draft master plan, and then ultimately collect your feedback and comments to incorporate into the plan. So to provide some context, the KYFWC is located on a 437-acre state-owned parcel in Olomana. It's located next to Maunawili Elementary School, Olomana Fire Station, and is across the highway from the Women's Community Correctional Facility. And the KYFWC is managed and operated by the Office of Youth Services. And this slide shows the timeline and history of the OIS and the KYFWC. Beginning in 1865, Hawaii's first youth institution, the Hawaii Industrial School, was established on Oahu. In 1928, the territory of Hawaii established two training schools, the Kawailoa Training School for Girls in Kailua and the Waiale'e Training School for Boys on the North Shore. Both schools operated as a farm and ranch. In 1962, the Waiale'e Training School for Boys closed and the boys were moved to Kawailoa, combining to form the Hawaii Youth Correctional Facility, which is what the KYFWC was formerly known as. Over 50 years ago, in January 1975, the state's first juvenile justice plan was submitted to the Ledge, marking the beginning of Hawaii's efforts to implement a therapeutic and restorative framework of policies and resources to support youth within the juvenile justice system. In 1989, the Ledge established the Office of Youth Services to separate minor offenders from adult offenders, bringing a new era for juvenile corrections in Hawaii. The OIS was also tasked to provide and coordinate a continuum of services and programs for at-risk youth to prevent delinquency and reduce the incidence of recidivism. The agency also provides and supports front-end services like prevention, diversion, and intervention, and back-end services like re-entry and transition supportive services. The establishment of the OIS is evidence of Hawaii's recognition of the special needs of youth who far too often have struggled to adjust and adapt from an early age as victims of neglect and abuse in families burdened with many problems. In 2009, Hawaii entered into a national campaign that aimed to reduce inappropriate use of detention as a response to juvenile delinquency. In 2014, Act 201 was passed by the state ledge, improving probation practices, codifying limitations for youth placement at the Hawaii Youth Correctional Facility, and requiring re-entry plans for youth released from the facility. As a result of Act 201, further declines in court filings, probation placements, and youth confinement were realized. In 2018, Act 208 renamed the campus from the Hawaii Youth Correctional Facility to the Kawailoa Youth and Family Wellness Center as the next step in the state's effort to transform the juvenile justice system. So over the past 6 years, partners have been working together to develop a model for a system that centers around healing and leads to improved community safety. The administrator who manages KYFWC has engaged partners to co-locate public and private youth-serving organizations on the campus. KYFWC has successfully convened key organizations that provide on-site services on its 437-acre campus. Over the past 6 years, the facility has made steady progress and began implementing the paradigm shift by starting a cultural healing focused program, building staff skills and capacity, and increasing staff and youth access to intervention resources and educational and vocational opportunities. Staff, volunteers, off-campus partners, and youth leaders engage in training in cultural approaches to become advocates for the state, and private funders to invest in youth through resources for cultural healing, trauma-informed care, and mental health awareness. So as we kind of went over in the previous slide, with the passing of Acts 201 and 208, the state has begun to implement a paradigm shift for the juvenile justice system, where the focus is more on cultural healing, therapeutic, and rehabilitative programs. The KYFWC has already started this transition with their current programs, but through this master plan, they will be able to fully make that transition so the facility can become a pu'uhonua, or sanctuary, for troubled youth by providing a campus and programming that fills the gaps in the current continuum of care and is rooted in Hawaiian practices and culture. Through this master plan, the facility hopes to offer rehabilitative services and programs, provide state-of-the-art facilities to support the treatment of youth, and expand the capacity through existing and additional partnerships. This slide here shows the planning process for this project. As you can see, we started over 2 years ago now with first doing site assessments where past reports were reviewed, current conditions were assessed to identify necessary improvements. We then prepared a programming report which outlined the long-term operational needs and gaps in the programs. This included interviews with program operators, partner organizations, and related state and county agencies. And then now we're here in the master plan phase, which builds off the previous phases to develop a conceptual master plan. The master plan identifies both program and facility improvements and priorities. We're doing outreach to the nearby neighborhood boards, landowners, and other stakeholders, and we're targeting to have the final master plan done by the first quarter of this year. The next 2 phases will include environmental impact statement and plan review use. The EIS will assess potential impacts and mitigation measures through technical studies, and it'll also have a community outreach effort and public comment period. The plan review use application process will follow the EIS. PRUs are required for institutional uses and will be reviewed by DPP and the City Council. So we'll also be coming back for another presentation during that process. And then after all of that, the project will move on to design and construction. But as you can see, this is a pretty long process until we really get to constructing any of the master plan improvements, and funding still needs to be procured for the next steps. Construction will also need to be done in phases as funding becomes available. So we really ask for the community and our legislators' support to help get the facility the funding it needs in the upcoming legislation. So before we go over the master plan, we want to share the existing programs and facilities that are currently in operation at the KYFWC, so you can kind of get a better idea of what the improvements and changes will be. I'll go over everything by program by explaining the current services that the program provides and their existing facilities. So the program descriptions are shown here in this table, and they're color-coded to show what buildings are associated with the program. And I'll present the master plan in the same format on the next slide. So first we have Halepea and Halemua program, which is an incarcerated program for boys and girls. It operates out of the secured central facility over here. This program was the start of the whole facility and what inspired the transition of the facility to shift to a more therapeutic and rehabilitative approach. All the programs at the facility are designed to both prevent incarceration and also provide support after youth come out of incarceration. The next program is Hale'opua, which provides support, services, and residence for homeless young adults ages 18 to 24. They currently operate out of the Building 6 Panable Cottage here in the middle of the facility. The next program is Hale'elu, which is a recreation program for youth and young adults ages 12 to 24 years old. Right now, the only recreational facility they have is a gymnasium that's over here. Hale Kaniko'o is a mental health assessment and healing program for youth ages 12 to 19. Their staff is currently operating out of this Building 3 administration building, and they provide services to incarcerated youth in the secured central facility. Hale Lanakila is a transitional program that provides vocational training and residential facilities for youth and young adults ages 14 to 24 years old. The resident facilities are in the Canoe House, and they utilize other buildings such as a technical educational buildings and gymnasium. They're located here in the blue. Hale Moana is an administrative program for the entire KYFWC. They currently operate out of the secured central facility. Hale Mololani is an agricultural vocational program, which operates out of a cluster of ag buildings shown here in purple. Includes a dairy building, Quonset structure, aquaponics building, cattle chute, and piggery. Then we have Hale Olomana, which is essentially Olomana School, and they serve grades 7 to 12. They provide alternate forms of education for at-risk youth referred by the DOE. That's shown here in pink. So as you can see, and from the previous slides, that the facility is part of like a bigger parcel and campus, but really the buildings that are currently in use are kind of just focused here around the middle. There's a lot more buildings and space that could be used and reactivated once improvements are made. So now we'll go over the improvements proposed in the master plan. First of all, being the first priority of improvements that would address safety and security of the campus and would include improvements that would be made around the whole facility. So this includes additional parking, sidewalks and walkways connecting to buildings and parking lots, downshielded lighting along sidewalks, 2 guard shacks at each entrance to the facility that would be operating 24/7, landscaping, irrigation lines, a new water storage tank, reinstating Api Spring, and reinstating Olomana Pump House, installation of a pump house, pump controls, piping, and valves at Kawailoa Spring, and upgrades to electrical infrastructure. And so now we'll share the conceptual master plan of the whole facility, including new buildings, facilities, and a description of the programs and also new programs. You can also review it on the fact sheet that should have been provided as a handout at the meeting. So the improvements summarized here would be made after those safety, security, and general site improvements that we just covered in the last slide. So just going down the list, first we have Hale'opua, which provides services for homeless young adults. A new youth homeless shelter is proposed for the program to offer a drop-in center that is closer to the entrance to the facility, which makes it safer and easier to access, especially since this is a very transient population. There's also going to be landscaping around the building to screen it from the highway. So that new facility is located here. Hale'elu is a recreation program, and improvements will include a new parking lot and restroom to service the baseball field near the entrance of the facility. And that is here. This field will also be available to the community to use for daytime baseball practices. There will also be improvements to bring the swimming pool back online, as well as renovations to the gym. The swimming pool is located down here. Hale Kaniko'o is a mental health assessment, healing, and residential program. The Hilltop Cottage is proposed to be demolished to make way for a new mental health facility and expanded parking lot. Renovations would be made to Ho'okipa Cottage and Panama College to accommodate the step-down program and program staff. So the new facility would be right here, and then renovations would be done to these facilities here in the center. Hale'Lanakila is the vocational training and residential program. A new residential facility would be constructed and outdoor storage and parking would be expanded. And that's shown here in the blue. Hale'Lanipulua would be a new program that would be brought to the facility, which would provide assessments and support for survivors of commercial sexual exploitation of children. Renovations to Maluhia Cottage would be made to accommodate the program. And that would be located here in blue, and access to this facility would be controlled also. Hale Moana is the administrative program of the facility. Improvements include a new 2-story administration building with offices and a training complex and parking lot. That is over here. Hale Mololani is the agricultural vocational program. Improvements include adding a residential aspect to the program by providing approximately 20 Kauhale residents and shared uses, demolishing the Quonset structure to create a new building for classrooms and storage, and demolishing the piggery and pig pen to construct a residence for the farm manager. And that's shown here in purple. Hale Olamana, so Olamana School, no changes are proposed for this program as part of the master plan. And same for Halepea and Halemua, which is the incarcerated program. No changes are proposed. Halepeva is a new program that is faith-based and provides support and religious needs for youth and young adults. Improvements for the program include renovations to the existing Building 5, providing a new faith-based learning center and an outdoor pavilion and earthen stage. That's here in the orange. And then the last new program is Halepopo Kapa, which is a Hawaiian culture program to provide healing and restoration through Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander cultural practices. Improvements for this program include restoration of the existing Kukui Pilau Heao, a new traditional hale, restrooms and earthen stage, and constructing a pathway that leads to these facilities. And that's over here. And so just going to show some photos now. These are photos of the buildings that are planned to be demolished, just to give everyone a better idea of the condition these buildings are in. New buildings and facilities would be constructed in place of these buildings here. And then some more photos. So this slide just shows photos of some of the other buildings at the facility, just to give everyone a sense of what it's like there. And with that, we can open it for questions and comments. We just like to mahalo the board and everyone for their time to allow us to present the draft master plan. I know we went over a lot of information in a short time, so if you want to learn more about the master plan or to look at more of the details, please feel free to visit our website. You can just scan the QR code here. It should also be on our fact sheet, and I think Ty will also drop the link in the chat. And on the website, we have a feedback survey where you can leave questions and comments on the master plan. And we're also leaving contact information for Mata and Cousin from the facility here, and also for Ty from BNK. I guess with that, we can turn it over to any questions or comments.
Kara, thank you so very much for that very, very detailed presentation. We're going to take a few, we are running behind schedule, so I do want to give an opportunity for those that are waiting to provide their presentations as well. We didn't have any plans to go into any board details this evening. Today was just an introduction to this, and our process generally invites a return for a much more deeper discussion. And so we definitely will be in contact about that, recognizing that there is still public opportunity for folks to engage. Brenda, you had a question?
Yeah, it sounds really excellent. Upgrades, it sounds great. I was just wondering where the funding is from for that.
Anyone want to take a stab at that? Mahalo. We have someone here in person who's going to attempt to answer.
But Matulina Lava, currently the youth administrator for the Kabailo campus. Currently, right now, we're going through the process, and we will be going to the ledge for all of the requesting for funding. And part of this is because of the efforts that were put out back in 2008 by where looking at what we are now with juvenile justice. We used to house over 194 the last 10 years, but our numbers now are in the 30s. So it shows how much work that has been put in and how effective it has been to serve the community and to make sure that the youth are that are getting what they need. So all of this is to let the public know of and the communities and our neighboring communities know this is what we're planning on doing, and we'll be going into the legislation requesting for more funding.
Mahalo for that. Yeah. Thank you.
Mahalo.
Brett Martin, and then we're gonna move on.
Aloha. I enjoyed the presentation. Thank you. It's very ambitious and exciting. I was surprised not to hear the names of organizations that are familiar to me that have been working there, like RISE, Kina'eha, Kupu'aina. And I wondered if those were just being referred to under different names or if all of those programs are being ejected.
Thank you for the question.
And Matulina Lava, yes, they are still part of our program. They have been amazing partners since the establishment of the Cavallo campus. So they were, I think when Carol went over it, they are referred as our community partners. Just for the generalization, because they're not just the only partners we do have. There's also community who are not on campus, but we definitely still do have RISE that is on campus. We also have Kinea that's on campus. We have Kupaino with PID that is there. And then, of course, the other state partners, which is the Department of Education, CAMHD, and then also the Department of DOH. Yeah. So DOH and DOE are also present on campus.
Mahalo. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Mahalo. Again, we look forward to providing more concrete question and answer discussion time at a future date. So we'll be in touch as well. But mahalo for bringing this to the community and mahalo for your service. All of you folks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, we're at 9:22. We have quite a bit of things to cover. Any other resident community concerns or public announcements? Seeing none, hearing none, we're going to move on. Elected officials, starting with Councilmember Kia Aina. Mahalo for your patience and time. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Okay, you guys can see me a little bit, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, aloha and good evening, everybody. Just a couple of quick updates. I know that, speed bumps are critically important for certain streets. On the Hihimanu front, I had put money in, as you recall. I keep on asking, so I don't have an update on the installation of those bumps, but I just want to let you know I haven't forgotten about it. I'm gonna move on to Laumilo Street. In response to community concerns, the city's Department of Transportation Services has completed an investigation, and they and as well as a speed survey, and they have not just confirmed there is speeding, but they are open to entertaining the installation of speed humps along that street. Of course, the condition is that 90% of the affected property owners have to support it. I do know that they sent our office as well, and we forwarded it to both the chair and vice chair, that the neighborhood board, they wanted them to submit it, which is inconsistent to me with other petitions that I have provided to other neighborhoods where it was not clear that the neighborhood board have to support it. So the reason I'm stating this is that's what I was told here. And I do believe that communities have the authority to directly secure the petition and send it over, but I'm just letting you know what they said here. For Kaha Street in Kailua, They simply told them this is what's required, and they did not clarify that the Kailua Neighborhood Board. So I just wanted to flag that for you, because that's something that I would be working on in concert with the affected property owners as well as the neighborhood board. Okay, so I just want to let you know that's going on. The reason it's important is similar to Hihimanu, they're going to tell me they have no money. So in the upcoming budget, I will go and ask them how many speed humps so that I could put it in, so that even if I'm having challenges on Hihimanu, I don't want them to say they don't have the money. With regard to the proposed North Shore Gondola project, as you know, the North Shore Neighborhood Board had come to present to many communities on Oahu. We had a reconsideration of the conditional use permit minor this morning by the Department of Planning and Permitting. As you recall, Chair Tommy Waters and I introduced a resolution that was passed in November of last year asking for the revocation of the permit. So I spoke, of course, to encourage revocation. And since November 5th, we have come to find out a lot of other actions or developments where we believe that even more so, they need to revoke the permit. So I'll be monitoring that. But I did also want to let you know that as tourism, agritourism increases on ag lands, it's clear to us that a minor conditional use permit is insufficient. So I am working with other lawmakers, and we will be seeking legislation to require a major permit. That's something that we should have considered doing Bill 64, but I don't know why, but it wasn't a big issue. And I regret that because I would have to go to the Planning Commission and so forth. Lastly, as you recall, on the Waimānalo pump track in November, Holly San Miguel, of course, wanted a status. I explained that we had $100,000 in the budget. I talked to her about Chuck Mitsui. She has since followed up, and so DPR is now working to schedule a meeting, which will be later this month in January. While I understand the complexity of DPR processes, I believe that there should be no excuse to use the 100,000, and I'm worried about that because we already know what the costs are going to be in the long term. So whatever the problem is with procurement, I'm hoping that in concert with Chuck Mitsui, he can help us navigate DPR so that them having difficulty in kickstarting it is not going to be an excuse for not making it happen, because what's the sense of securing seed money and then it doesn't get spent? And that's my presentation. If anybody has any questions. I did put in the chat box that I believe with regard to the Youth Correctional Facility Master Plan, it is a big project. And as such, I do believe they should have a separate community meeting for both Waimānalo and Kailua to be able to go over all that was said. I know I got a briefing a couple of months ago. It is big. And even though the city has announced that they're going to have the landfill staying at Waimānalo Gulch, I am not confident that we are not vulnerable to a legislator who doesn't like what's happening to still decrease the buffer zone for future landfill sites, which of course the youth correctional facility is a proposed site. It's something to take seriously. We still have to be vigilant. And so in that context, I think we need more time. I mean, I saw what was going on, but it is a lot. It's going to require a lot of money, a lot of planning, zoning, right, where is necessary, land use. And then I also think we need to safeguard that location from never ever being used for a landfill. Anyway, thank you.
Great points, Councilmember. Thank you so much for your service. We're going to go quickly through some questions. Ted Ralston.
Yeah, Councilmember Ted here. There was discussion about a Ko'olopoko orientation meeting of some kind dealing with the tsunami and the evacuation and all that it was going to be doing in
Yes.
February. Is that still on?
That is correct. I have not. I need a little more follow up with that. So some of the Kaneohe board members, they were a little concerned. They're interested. They just wanted to make sure that the manner of how it moved forward was not solely at the discretion of the city's Department of Emergency Management. And so it's a work in progress. The DM director and I had initially targeted February, but I think I'm going to need more time because who organizes it, the scope of the I don't know if you want to call it an exercise or a workshop, has to be done right. Otherwise, it might just be a check off the box kind of emergency preparedness town hall, and that's not what we want. So thank you for the question, but it's still a work in progress. If you have any ideas, please shoot me an email.
Right on. Okay.
Thank you, Ted. Lily?
Aloha Council member, I just wanted to express my support for the work that you'd like to do to require a major conditional use permit major instead of a minor. I think that is really important. We're seeing this kind of trend towards gentleman agriculture and visitor-based industry, not just here on Oahu, but in other areas. And I would also like to remind everyone, it was just a few months ago that someone had asked to be on the agenda for a proposed resort at Makapu'u, which would have been, sited on lands there. And so I think all of those fall under that category. And the difference between conditional use permit minor and major is that the major actually provides space for public input, whereas the minor is something that can just kind of get pushed through with Department of Planning and Permitting and the staff review. So thank you so much for championing this. Whatever I can do or we can do to help support that, I think we'd be very interested.
I appreciate it because I have to tell you that even if the North Shore project was in 2019, I have to tell you it was not a strong expression during the consideration of Bill 64. So I feel I missed it. Only now am I understanding the magnitude, right? Because I wasn't there. And I really believe that this project is going to be a bellwether. And DPP is also realizing that this is going to change the course of how all future projects are. So I think it's going to be a little more difficult for future minor or major, if we get it enacted into law, agritourism, because I think people are saying it's enough. And one of the reasons I testified this morning, and I said it before, on occasion, we as council members need to ensure that people know that this is not a district specific issue. It is a project that affects all of us on Oahu. And we have to be united in certain times to express our viewpoints, because otherwise they look at the law and they're like, okay, well, I think it's okay. You know what I'm saying? So I think that they are being educated. And I actually have confidence based on behavior, what happened this morning, that that things may change, because I was one of the first to testify and I was insulted when the major PR person for the project told me before I completed my remarks that my 2 minutes is up in front of everybody. And I asked him if that I didn't know he was the timekeeper. And he acted shocked. And I pointed at him and I said, yeah, you. If you want to know who I'm talking to you. And by the way, I only went like 15 seconds over. But the point is, this is the type of arrogance that is occurring. And quite frankly, I'm glad he did it. He did it in front of the owner. He did it in front of the whole audience. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for your mana'o, and I will make sure to keep you posted.
Mahalo. We're going to take one last question and then we do need to move on. Moyata? Moyata, did you have a hand up? Okay, hearing none, we're gonna continue on, and I apologize for
Thank
cutting short.
you.
Mahalo, council member.
Thank you.
If we do have any people that have feedback, comments, questions, please reach out to council member's office or let us know, and we can reach out on your behalf as well. We're gonna move on. Senator Chris Lee. Hearing none. Representative Lisa Martin.
Aloha. Before I
Mahalo.
forget, I wanted to welcome Isabella Manini, who is a Waimānalo resident, high school student at Kailua High School, who is interning in my office this semester, and she's here on this Zoom taking notes. I had a work dinner earlier, so I missed the first part of this meeting, and she has been taking notes for me. So I wanted to thank her and welcome her to my office. We're about to start session, so we're working very hard to get bills organized. The last, consultations before they are finalized in drafting. And I did want to mention a few bills that are a priority for me as Human Services Chair. I'm really focused on trying to keep people on benefits, on Medicaid, SNAP, public housing benefits. As you folks may know, there have been some changes at the federal level with what they're calling community engagement requirements, which means either work or volunteer hours or school or training. And it's 80 hours a month, so it's quite significant. And this is extended for SNAP to some new groups, to older kupuna, to parents caring for children who used to be exempt if they had a child 18 or younger. Now it's 13 or younger. It used to be kupuna who are 55 or older. Now it's 65 or older. Now homeless people are not exempt. Veterans are not exempt. The list goes on. And for the first time ever, Medicaid beneficiaries have to show these same hours, and even people who get federal housing. So I have a few bills targeting, or two bills targeting that group. One is to do a statewide master database that will make it easier for people to apply for and verify for all benefits. It's a one-stop shopping concept that we should have actually had in our state for a long time. And this will allow people to upload their information just one time, and the different agencies can draw it for each different program, rather than having to do redundant work for the agencies and redundant work for beneficiaries. So that's one. Another one is to is a GIA, setting funds aside for nonprofits that work with communities of people that will find it hard to log hours. Maybe they are, not as employable as some other parts of the population. So setting up volunteer and training programs catered to these groups so that they can log hours and maintain their benefits. We know that as a state, we will pay one way or another. If we don't pay for Medicaid, we pay an ER, et cetera. So it's really important to keep people on services. And that's it. There are obviously, I have a lot of other bills, and if anybody is interested to talk about them, there's nothing I enjoy doing more, but I'll leave it and see if you have any questions.
Right, Martin, thank you so much for the updates and your work. Happy New Year. Members, we'll take a few questions. Anyone online? Hearing none. Community members online? Oh, is there someone?
No, that's just me saying thank you and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Kunala, community folks here. Okay. But Martin, if there is anything, we will send it to your office. And congratulations, Bella, on your next kuleana. Mahalo for serving. Okay, gang, we're going to continue to press on. The Governor Josh Green's office. Hearing none. Congress member Jill Takuta's office. Hearing none. Okay, it's 9:39. We have a presentation, an update, I should say, and then a few items to run through. Board business. Here we go. Approval of regular meeting minutes for Monday, November 10th. Any amendments, members? Hearing none, there is a new process that basically says unless there are amendments, it will be approved as drafted. So mahalo for your voice there. We'll move those through and get them approved. The next item, I'm going to ask us to defer. This is regarding the dog-friendly parks proposal. Unless there is any change in information or any gathering of information from the Native Hawaiian community or land beneficiaries that anyone has an update to, I'm going to ask that we defer that pending that update. Members, any updates on there? Hearing none. So we're going to defer that item. Mahalo. The next item should be a quick one. We've had some time, and we mahalo our the Parks and Recreation Committee that has been working very diligently in the background to try and get some things up to date for us. This is about approving and submitting recommended Waimānalo Public Park signage requests. They have been submitted to all of you folks by the committee and reviewed. Members, we are looking to approve that this evening. Is there a recommendation to approve? Any members move to approve that submittal?
Yeah, this is Moyata.
Thank you.
I move.
Mahalo Moyata, is there a second?
Kuike.
Kuike with the second. Members, it's been moved and seconded. We're in discussion. Hearing no discussion, I just want to offer my mahalo. I know this has been an ongoing thorn in the side of many people to get certain rules onto the signs, to get certain kinds of actions taken by HPD, et cetera. And this has been a long, drawn-out process, probably more drawn out than it has to be. So Auntie Brenda, mahalo to you folks for your continued work in that and actually visiting the parks and seeing all of those things. Any other comments before we move into decision-making? Great. Hearing none. Again, it's been moved and seconded. We are going to allow Hoku and Kukui to vote on this. So Kukui, your camera needs to be on as well as the rest of you that are online. And then Hoku, we're going to have you come and join us up here and sit down with us if you folks want to offer your leo this evening. We're going to do a roll call vote. And your name is called. Please state your position. Aye, yes. Ole, no. Kanalua. What is the word I'm looking for? Abstain. Thank you. We're going to start with Canela.
Canela Neighborhood Board at Large Treasurer. Aye.
Sure. Mahalo. Thank you. Kuike.
Aye.
Mahalo. Lily.
Aye.
Mahalo. Jenna. No vote. Moyata.
Aye.
Mahalo. Cappy.
Aye.
Ted.
Aye.
Brenda.
Aye.
Hoku.
Abstain. I don't have enough information.
Sure. Mahalo. Kukui.
Abstain for the same
Mahalo.
reasons.
Thank you. Chair votes aye. Mahalo, members. 8 ayes, 0 nays, 2 abstentions. The motion passes. We appreciate the work there and we look forward to continual service. Mr. Hunt, are you still available this evening? He might not be and might be on a different time schedule. So
No, can you hear me, Chair?
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Taylor. I appreciate your patience. You are the last bit of information for us this evening. The time is yours, sir.
Okay, thank you. I'll try to be swift here. Thank you, Chair and the board and community for allowing me to speak tonight to you all. I do appreciate it. Like I said, I'll try to be quick. My name is Taylor Hunt. I'm the development manager for the renovation of Waimānalo Apartments. Waimānalo is an 80-unit apartment community that's rent and income restricted, originally developed back in the early 70s. We are applying to the Hawaii Housing Finance Development Corporation for financing to perform a substantial renovation on the apartment community. We've been working on this project for the past 5 years. Just to interject and echo some of Mr. Larson's sentiments about his frustration with the government. For the past 2 years that we've been applying for financing, we've received zero communication and no transparency from the state. And we have elevated our concerns now to the governor's office. Regardless of those efforts, we are once again applying for financing to renovate the apartment community. The applications are due on February 20th. And so my purpose for being before you all is kind of twofold tonight. First off, we would like to request an updated letter of support from the board. The board has supported our efforts for the past 4 years, so we're going in for a 5th year of kind of application rounds. And then the second kind of effort that we want to present to the community is and I'll share my screen here if that's allowed.
Yeah, you should have privileges to do so.
Is a resolution that we drafted that see if I can figure this out. So it's not working for me, I'm afraid.
Okay, I'll take a look and see if I can bring it up. Why don't you continue?
Okay, so we're working in tandem with Waimānalo Apartments, a project in Pearl City called Halio Hau'oli. It's a 100-unit senior development. We are also applying for financing for that project. About 2 years ago, the Pearl City Neighborhood Board came up with a pretty slick piece of technology where they drafted and passed a resolution that granted the chair of the Pearl City Board the authorization to provide us as developers a letter of support for our application. That kind of, it doesn't really bypass the efforts of the board, but if the board were to have a meeting where we needed a letter of support and they didn't have a quorum, that would be problematic for the application purposes. So that's kind of what I wanted to discuss tonight, but I can't seem to share my screen, unfortunately.
I have it up right now, Mr. Hunt, for the community to see it. Are you able to do that?
No, I can't see it. I'm frozen here. So I'll just talk in general about it. Basically, it kind of outlines the intent of the community to support the preservation and the creation of affordable housing kind of in general. I think that this board has certainly shown that on our past efforts to apply for financing. So like I said at the start, this is a kind of a twofold request. For the purposes of this meeting, we're looking for a support letter. It's just an update from last year's letter as we kind of gear up for another application round. And then the consideration and discussion of this kind of board resolution that would authorize the chair to support our efforts going forward. Like I mentioned at the start, you know, we've been working this project for quite some time. Waimānalo is being underserved by the state's resources. You know, Waimānalo Apartments sits at the top of the state's expiring ground lease list. It is in need of a substantial renovation. In general, Waimānalo is an underserved community by the state's resources. So we've been owners and operators of this apartment community for 20 plus years, and we're frustrated as well. So we hope that our frustration combined with the communities will come together to bring an influx of capital dollars, capital contributions, jobs for the preservation, the re-syndication, and the renovation of Waimānalo Apartments.
Thank you. Mahalo, Mr. Hunt. So members, we have the resolution that's going to be agendized for February. I think this evening, we can make the, excuse me, sorry, let me, Moyata, I'll address that after this one. So our update regarding this letter, I think we've done that prior as well, providing a letter, not necessarily requiring an action like a board vote specifically. And so, yeah, unless there's anyone that's significantly opposed to that, I'm happy to just resubmit with a different date. I think, Mr. Hunt, one of the challenges that we're going to find ourselves stuck in, and we'll have this conversation with the resolution, is there needs to be clear and concise update information. You know, I can see a potential risk and challenge that we might endure where something changes that we're not aware of, and just a blank check signing is not going to suffice. And so if there's a commitment on your folks' end to maintain that level of integrity with regards to communication, I think there's a potential for us to consider that. But tonight, members, is anyone opposed to just updating our previous letter of support? Yeah, well, we're not going to do the reso tonight. The reso is going to be for February. Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. And it's up to us. I mean, we do have time before our next, before your deadline. I know it's a little tight, but we don't have this specific letter update as an agendized item for this evening. So I don't, if the board wants to pursue it as an agenda item, we can move it into February too and provide both of those in conversation. I don't have a personal opinion about it. I think we've updated it before. So as he talked about, we've done this for some years. Any members have an opinion? Okay. Anyone in objection to me just updating a letter?
Chair.
Yep, Canela.
I'm just gonna abstain because I don't remember what the letter says.
Sure.
I'll just abstain for
Sure.
right now
Yeah.
until I get more
I
information.
mean, if that's the case with an abstention, maybe we should just do a vote if it requires. I don't know that it requires one, but we don't have it agendized, so it'd have to be agendized first. Yeah. And I don't think we have, well, we have 9 that can agendize it this evening. So to add an item to the agenda specifically, we need 9 out of 13. Yeah. So I'm happy to entertain if someone wants to add this item to the agenda.
I'll move to agendize, Chair.
Thank you, Lily.
Second.
Is there a second?
Kuike.
Mahalo, Kuike. So adding to the agenda, the motion has been moved and seconded. This is to add to the agenda the updating of a letter of support from this board on behalf of Taylor Hunt and his and this venture. And that's been moved by Lily and seconded by Kuike. We'll do a roll call vote very quickly. Again, adding the item to the agenda. Okay, the letter update. Canela.
Aye.
Mahalo, Kuike.
Aye.
Mahalo, Lily.
Aye.
Mahalo, Jenna. No vote, Moyata.
Aye.
Cappy.
Aye.
Ted.
Aye.
Brenda.
Aye.
Oku.
Aye.
Kukui.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Mahalo, members. That's 10 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions. With that being said, the item has been agendized. Is there a motion to approve the updating of a letter of support?
So moved.
Mahalo,
Second.
Lily. Seconded by Kuike. Members, we're going to go through a roll call vote. This is to support the updating of a letter of support on behalf of Mr. Hunt's project. Canela.
Aye.
Mahalo. Kuike.
Aye.
Mahalo, Lily.
Aye.
Jenna. No vote, Moyata.
Aye.
Cappy.
Aye.
Ted.
Aye.
Brenda.
Aye.
Hoku.
Aye.
Kukui.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Members, that's 10 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions. Mr. Hunt, we'll get you an updated letter reflecting the current date. As far as the resolution, we'll take that into consideration in our February meeting, which you're more than invited to participate in. Are there any other questions for Mr. Hunt? Okay, Mr. Hunt, do you have any closing remarks? He might have froze. Moyata's comment in the question, there's one typo on the park signage. We can update that, get that corrected. And then get that across. Thanks, Moyata.
Thank you.
All right, gang. That brings us to the close of our agenda. I want to mahalo everybody for your patience, time, and support. We are going to move through some really quick announcements, Neighborhood Commission Office announcements. Melissa, you have anything you want to share from the NCO? Just real quick, yeah.
So just for everyone's
for everyone who would like to access meeting materials or anything that's related to each board meeting. We do have a link on the agenda. And I shared my screen, and when you click on that Google Drive link, it'll take you to this page right here. I believe you would just need to create a Gmail account or email. And this is the Waimānalo board. If you click on 2026, you just click on which month you want to view, and all the meeting materials are listed here, including all the presentations and newsletters and all the information that is related to the meeting. Thank you.
Mahalo nui, Melissa. This is again an opportunity of providing access. So please use it, utilize it, share it. Next Waimānalo Neighborhood Board meeting will be scheduled for Monday, February 9th, 2026. 2026 Olelo broadcast schedule follows the same as it did in 25 until updated, where meetings are broadcast on Olelo Channel 49 on the 4th Monday of the month at 9 p.m. and on the 1st and 3rd Saturdays of the month at 3 p.m. Seeing no other items before the board and recognizing the time, I want to call us into a closing. Will our vice chair be willing to close us off in Pule this evening? Puike?
Mahalo, Chair.
Hey, of course. Feel free to use your vice chair privilege and pass it to someone else.
Yeah, I would love to close this in the pool. However, I just want to offer this up to anyone at this moment in time.
Mahalo. Any volunteers?
Any volunteers, Kukui?
Yeah. Mahalo Kukui.
Ai, mahalo nui kako, e ho'omala kako, e kia kua mana loa, me nā omaku o ka pō au hea o ko, he leo, ha'a keia, he leo mahalo keia, no ko kako hui ana, ma keia halawai o ka Waimānalo Neighborhood Board. Mahalo nui ia nā ho'ike I ka ana mai I nā ano ike like ole. E hapai I keia mau mana'o I keia mau mana'o lana ma loko o nā 5 ʻoluʻolu o ke akua a me nā kūpuna I hala. No leila, e ho'opō maikaʻi I nā hana like ole I nā kanaka like ole e kumau ai ma keia kaiāulu o Waimānalo a me ka paiʻaina o Hawaiʻi hoʻi. Amene, a mama ua noa lele wale.
Amen. Mahalo nui Kukui. Thank you so very much, everybody. This meeting is adjourned at 9:58 p.m. Mahalo kako. Drive safely. Ahui o.
Mahalo.